Network and ABC Sports present Baseball Night in America. This evening, it's the Minnesota Twins against the Boston Red Sox, and a tale of two teams headed in the opposite direction. The Twins are last in the American League Central, 28.5 lengths behind the Indians, while the Red Sox have led the American League's Eastern Division since the 9th of May. They're trying to hold on, though. The Orioles and the Yankees are closing in. Hi, everyone, and welcome to New England's baseball shrine, Fenway Park. I'm Bob Kurtz, along with George Frazier. Not too far to look. Storyline as far as the Red Sox are concerned tonight, it's the knuckleballer Tim Wakefield.
What a job he's done for the Red Sox. 9-1 on the year, but more importantly, whenever they've had that losing streak, he's been the go-to guy. Not in the past, it's been Roger Clemens, but now it's Tim Wakefield. Wakefield with a knuckleball pitch. He went back to the Negro brothers to perfect it after losing records in the big leagues and the minor leagues. Best way to explain it, Bob's probably is trying to catch a butterfly without a net. The American League hadn't had any nets this year. He's 9-1.
No, the Sox have lost 2 in a row. Wakefield trying to stop the slide tonight. From a Minnesota perspective, this Minnesota ball club, baseball's world champions just 4 years ago.
1991, they're world champions. 1995, no chance. As you said, 28.5 games out of first place. The only two guys left, Knobloch and Puckett. Can they wait around to try to win another world championship? The Twins fans and those two guys, Knobloch and Puckett, it's yet to be seen.
So we got a good pitching matchup tonight. Brad Radke, who's won his last 5 starts, goes against Tim Wakefield. It's the Red Sox against the Minnesota Twins. Let's head to our ABC studios in John Stonders. Back, everyone, to Fenway Park in Boston. Here's tonight's Budweiser starting lineup for the Minnesota Twins. Chuck Knobloch will lead it off for Minnesota. Very young ball club. They hope it'll get a bit younger as they have a few more maybe moves up their sleeves here the past couple of months of the season.
Tim Wakefield, 9-1 on the year. You see, 12 games, 13 games started. Last bid against the Minnesota Twins, 7 innings of no-hit baseball. What a great job that he did, and what he's done to revamp that knuckleball.
Sox looking for a big outing from Wakefield tonight. He talked about the knuckleball.
Actually held with the fingertips, 2 fingers inside the horseshoe, and you just let it go and try to throw it with no spin, so it floats a little bit like that.
And yes, it does float. I'm telling you, it's the amazing thing about Wakefield that I like so much is he's got a little bit of a fastball. He can get it to 80, 81 miles an hour, which is deceptive enough. And if you talk to Al Nepper, the new pitching coach of the Boston Red Sox, he'll tell you it's deceptive enough that he can throw it when he's behind in the count.
Throws the knuckleball to Knobloch to start the ball game. He'll throw a fastball, throw a little bit of a curve, but primarily a knuckleball pitcher. As you look at Knobloch, the American League's Rookie of the Year in '91 when he helped lead the Twins to their last World Series triumph over the Atlanta Braves and what many feel was the greatest World Series ever played.
Bobby's, when he goes, they go. When he gets on base, they're going to score some runs. It just doesn't have the backup behind him this year.
Knuckleball missing inside. 2 balls and a strike to count on Knobloch. Knobloch has a little ritual there that he will go through between every pitch. Another good crowd on hand here at Fenway tonight. The knuckleball for a strike, and it's 2-2. Sox looking for a big outing from Wakefield tonight. Roger Clemens lasting only an inning and a third here yesterday, and Jeff Suppan just 3 1/3 innings here on Saturday. So the Sox have really used up that bullpen. Wakefield has been the stopper for Boston this year. Full count on Knobloch to start the ball game. Knobloch has hit safely in each of the 3 games. Twins have won the last 2 of this 3-game series after the Sox won the series opener 13-5 on Friday night. Willie McGee misjudging it out in center field. It'll go all the way to the wall. Knobloch rounding second, heading for third, and Knobloch will go in with a stand-up triple. Looked like a routine fly ball to center field to start the ball game. McGee got messed up.
And nobody feels worse than Willie McGee. When the ball was hit off of the bat, I think he felt like the ball was just going to float up into center field, but this ball carries. It was not a knuckleball. It was a fastball on a 3-2 pitch from Wakefield that goes to the deepest part of this ballpark, 420 feet from home plate. See McGee get the ball back in and is able to hold Knobloch to the triple. This is not quite the way I don't believe that Tim Wakefield nor the Red Sox wanted this ball game to start off.
Well, particularly how things have gone here this weekend. So Knobloch is at third to open the ball game. Rich Becker, the center fielder, the batter. Willie McGee signed as a free agent. Of course, had the Achilles problem last year. Spent the last 4 years with the San Francisco Giants. A ball and a strike to count on Becker, who is a switch hitter, but hits a much better from the left side of the plate.
Changed when he got to pro ball. Tried to become the switch hitter. Hitting from the right side has been a lesson.
Knobloch unable to advance. 2 balls and a strike to count on Becker. Becker had a couple of doubles and knocked in 4 runs in the ball game here on Saturday. Came up from Salt Lake City at the end of May. Has started 44 now of the last 45 ball games in center field for the Twins. Looks at a called strike. 2-2. Twins coming into the ball game 28 wins, 51 losses on the year, but they've played much better since the All-Star break. Swing and a miss, struck him out. First strikeout of the night for Wakefield. Look at our defense for you. For the Red Sox, Greenwell in left. We've met Willie McGee in center, Troy O'Leary in right. The infield, Timmy Naring at third, John Valentin at short, Luis Alisei at second, Mo Vaughn at first, Mike McFarland behind the plate, and of course Tim Wakefield on the mound. Sox not a good fielding team. They're last in the American League. Hitter is Marty Cordova, the rookie left fielder, swings and misses. Cordova has a couple of hits in 14 times at bat in the series. That was a double on Friday night. It was his only extra base knock. And quite a find, though, for Minnesota. They're happy with his play in left field. Wakefield missing way inside, a ball and a strike. There's not a great crop for the Rookie of the Year honors in the American League. There's a lot of talk about Benji Gill, perhaps, of the Texas Rangers, John Nunnally of the Kansas City Royals, but certainly Cordova right up there as well. 2 balls and a strike.
One thing, an umpire could be a big asset to a knuckleball pitcher simply because the ball breaks so late in the strike zone.
Now you have to wait as this one is fouled back our way. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
As much as he has to wait, that hitter has to wait. And the way you beat a knuckleballer is to be patient, because it's hard to throw that pitch into the strike zone on a consistent basis. As we saw in the first hitter with Knobloch, he fell behind in the count. The last thing Wakefield wants to do is walk the leadoff hitter in a game, so he came with the fastball and paid dearly.
2-2 pitch in for called strike 3. Gets the inside corner. Had to wait, and it fluttered across the inside part of the plate. 2 strikeouts here in the first inning by Wakefield, as Knobloch, who was at third with nobody out, is there now with 2 outs.
Talking about Chuck Merriweather, the home plate umpire, when this ball crosses, it looks like it's going to stay in the middle of the plate and actually drop right in the middle of Mike McFarland's glove. Not so. The ball breaks down and inside.
Pedro Munoz, the designated hitter, fouling it over. Mo Vaughn getting turned around. Vaughn cannot come up with it. Overshot the ball and winds up on his rear end, and Munoz still has life at the plate.
Obviously, the wind must be blowing out to center field, because these balls are carrying a lot more and swirling a little bit. As you can see, Mo Vaughn, a pretty fleet-footed for his size first baseman. The center field flag blowing pretty heavily right now here at Fenway Park. Tough to read those baseballs. Plus, right now with the sun setting, a lot of things can happen. A good picture of Old Glory as it blows in the wind here at Fenway.
Nice, hot, humid night with the wind blowing out. We could have a few dingers hit here tonight. Knobloch stealing home, and he's out. Tried to steal home, and he was out at the plate. The Twins threatened in the first inning, but Knobloch cut down. Fenway Park, Twins and Boston scoreless here, bottom of the first. Here is tonight's Budweiser starting lineup for the Boston Red Sox.
It's pretty obvious to see what the Twins are trying to do here is steal home plate with Chuck Knobloch. He got an extraordinary long lead at third base with the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. As you see the leadoff way down the cutout part, as soon as Wakefield starts the windup, he takes off running, throws a good high fastball. 3 things it tells you right there. 1, Wakefield's got a slow wind up, so he felt like he could steal home. Number 2, he doesn't feel like the Twins offense that maybe Munoz could hit him. And Wakefield makes a great pitch. The third part of that, Wakefield makes a good pitch because it's a fastball up and in on Munoz, so he's not going to swing at the ball because fear of hitting Knobloch and to make the tag.
Okay, now here is tonight's Budweiser starting lineup for the Boston Red Sox. Willie McGee at the top of things. 45 players used by the Sox this year, the most in the major leagues. They'll be adding another one, picking up Dave Hollins from Philadelphia. He's joining the team tomorrow. Here's Willie McGee now leading off for the Sox against Brad Radke. Goes after the first pitch and fouls it down the third base line. McGee playing just 1 game of the series so far. That was here on Saturday afternoon, went 1 for 5 with a home run that came off Eddie Guardado.
was kidding Willie McGee prior to the ballgame. I said, all your great heroics that you've had in baseball, probably the greatest feeling you ever had was getting traded for me in 1980, wasn't it, Willie? And he kind of smirked a little bit. I don't think he quite agreed with my philosophy.
McGee fouls it off. I remember you, of course, as a pitcher for the Minnesota Twins and then on the championship team in 1987. I think I best remember you, though, giving up Ken Herbeck's first home run at Yankee Stadium in 1981.
Two good things that night. It was his first home run that he had hit for the Twins, and it was the first run I'd given up as a Yankee. So we had 2 firsts that night. Still couldn't figure out why Reggie didn't catch that ball.
The game winner in the 12th inning as Radke missing inside. Radke's won his last 4 decisions. He is 7-7 on the year for the Twins. A native of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, but grew up in Tampa, Florida, went to Jesuit High School there. Made the ball club in spring training, which is interesting because spring training was only, what, about 13, 14 days long. Didn't think a rookie'd have a chance, but Radke pitched well enough to win a spot in the ball club.
I think one of the things that falls into place there is with the Twins, Terry Ryan, the new general manager, tried to play by the rules with the replacements. He was signing guys off the street, not using any minor league players, and as they would play other teams, they'd see more minor league players crossing the picket line. So when it came time for the season to start and to get some pitchers, they had to go after some people. High hard one that time from Radke.
And he went after McGee and strikes him out. Baseball Night in America is brought to you by Chevrolet. The cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. Genuine Chevrolet. Bud Light, if you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. And calcium-rich Tums. Tums helps wipe out heartburn and gives you calcium. One gone here in the Boston first. Here's John Valentin. Valentin has 3 hits in the series, has a career high 16 home runs, including 1 off Radke at the Metrodome. Radke was a 6-4 winner over the Boston Red Sox. His only previous appearance against the ball club. In for a strike, 2-1.
I was going to say.
9th and final meeting between the Red Sox and Minnesota Twins this year. They met opening day here at Fenway Park. Sox won that 9-0. Season series now even at 4 aside as Valentin rocks this one foul down the left field line. Sox have had their problems with Minnesota. I mentioned they won here Friday night 13-5. Have lost 2 in a row now. Sox knocking out both Jeff Suppan and Roger Clemens.
Take a look at his numbers, 7-7, high earned run average, but as you stated, in his last 6 starts has been very successful. Doesn't walk a lot of people, doesn't strike out a lot.
Does give up a lot of home runs.
A lot of home runs and a lot of hits. It's that extra base hit that'll hurt you.
Red Sox hit 4 homers against him at the Metrodome in that start.
Due to the, if you want to call it a fire sale in Minnesota, Carl Pohlad trying to move that ball club, getting rid of a lot of their veteran pitchers.
This with the fastball inside. Valentin throwing a 1-out walk. First base runner for the Red Sox tonight.
Radke probably this year, if they still had the Ericksons and a few other guys that they've traded away, the Aguilaras in the last month or so, he might not be pitching in the big leagues right now. He would probably be in AAA perfecting what he needs to become a successful major league pitcher. But due to the sales, not re-signing of any of the free agents, he's been forced to be taught in the big leagues on how to get big league hitters out, and that can be tough on you early. And obviously in his last 6 starts, he's starting to get things together.
Tough hitter to get out here. Mo Vaughn. Vaughn goes after the first pitch and fouls it back. It's way early, but Vaughn is a candidate for most valuable player in the American League. Here's Vaughn Friday night in the series. The base is loaded against Scott Klingenbeck, and you will not hit a ball much further here at Fenway Park. It was measured at 442 feet off the back wall of the bleachers.
Well, I played against some great ball clubs here in Fenway Park with Yaz and Rice, some guys who could hit the ball a long ways in this ballpark, but I've never seen one hit that far either.
Leads the American League in both home runs and RBIs. Valentin takes off, and Vaughn will foul it at the plate. It's 0-2.
This is a part of Radke's game that Such has tried to work on. You're ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes to a guy that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Don't make a mistake within the strike zone. Go ahead and try to strike him out. Put him away, but don't make a mistake. Leave it up, belt high in the strike zone, something that's in his wheelhouse. Make him hit your pitch, not
But don't
his
just
pitch.
completely waste the 0-2 pitch.
Right. Don't come up and in or waste a pitch. If you're going to do that, just call timeout and throw it against the screen and get your one pitch that you're going to waste out of the way. Don't give him some in that zone he can drive hard.
Well, with 26 home runs this year, 14 of them here at Fenway Park. 22 of the 26 have come off right-handed pitching.
Yesterday's ball game, I think you have to say Kevin Tappan made a great pitch on Vaughn with the bases loaded and the Red Sox trailing 8-2 through a great split-fingered fastball down and away from him in the zone that he had to swing at, could not take.
Missed inside, 2-2. Vaughn does strike out a lot, as do most power hitters. Only Benji Gill has struck out this year, more in the American League than Vaughn. And again, Vaughn leads the league in homers with 26 and in runs batted in with 73. Fox will run a bit. Stahoviak holding with Valentin there at first base. Fox not running perhaps as much now as they did earlier in the year.
Things change as that race gets tighter. Managers don't want to put themselves in a questionable position, sending guys maybe when they shouldn't. It'd be nice to have him on the move, and Vaughn hit one in the gap.
Oh, a little dribbler right back to the mound. Radke will go to second for one. Skip the throw. They're still, though. Nope, they're not able to double Vaughn at first base. Stahoviak, the throw pulling him off the bag. They did get Valentin at second. They knocked down the lead runner.
Get a swing like that, you're going to think he's going to drive the ball pretty hard, catches you off guard. Great job by Reveille to pick that ball out of the dirt from Radke and try to complete the double play. Vaughn, even though he has 11 steals on the year, I think those are more sneaky steals than they are straight steals so much. They have a lot of great speed.
Now, Vaughn has always been named the hit dog here in Boston with his added speed this year. They've started calling him the speed dog, and when he makes a nice play at first base, he's the glove dog. But here's Jose Canseco. Canseco looking at a called strike. Canseco had a 3-run home run in the ball game here Saturday afternoon to try and get the Red Sox back in it, but they fell short by a run, 8-7. Canseco with 8 home runs on the year and 31 runs batted in. It was a tough spring for Jose. Got off to a bad start. Got off to a slow start in the regular season, then tried to steal second base at Yankee Stadium May the 2nd. Pulled a groin. That put him on the DL for a while. While on the DL working out, he pulled the rib cage muscle. That sidelined him further. Fouls this one back. Just missed it. A ball and 2 strikes.
He may not have or possess the consistent power that he's had in the past, but he does still put fear in a pitcher's heart when you're standing on the mound, knowing that he can still drive the ball, particularly here in Fenway Park, off the monster or out of the ballpark. Still don't want to make a mistake up in the strike zone, hang a slider or a curveball, which Radke throws both.
Canseco has 4 of his 8 home runs here at Fenway Park this year. Sox have lost all 4 games, interestingly enough, that he's homered in. Checks his swing here and fouls it back. They were thinking when they got him that he and Vaughn would be a big 1-2 punch. Canseco 4 here and 4 on the road, but so far they've homered in just the same ball game twice this year. Showing signs of really coming out of it. When he came off the DL, he was 0 for his first 11 times at bat, but has hit at a .330 clip since then. Vaughn held by Stahoviak at first base. There with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Radke wide with the fastball, and it's 2-2. Sox have had problems with Minnesota, winning just 1 season series from the Twins since 1988. Radke deals 2-2. Canseco pops it foul. Layus, the third baseman in front of the Minnesota dugout, will put it away. That'll retire the Red Sox here in the bottom half of the first inning. We've completed 1 and we're scoreless. Everyone, Fenway Park here in Boston. Baseball night in America. Twins and Red Sox scoreless as we move to the second. Pedro Munoz will lead off for the Twins, followed by Scott Stahoviak and Scott Layus. Munoz at the plate when Knobloch was cut down trying to steal home to end the first inning. Jumps on the first offering from Wakefield and sends a single to center field. Well, 2 hits now for Minnesota. Wakefield almost no-hit him the last time out, carrying a no-hitter into the 8th inning before Jeff Rebele broke it up in the 8th at the Metrodome. Wakefield has 2 near no-nos this year. Took a no-hitter into the 8th at the Oakland Coliseum against the A's. Here's Scott Stahoviak at first base. Seems like every game we've had this weekend here, George, and this is the 4th one, the Twins have started someone different at first base.
Well, they're trying to replace the Ken Hrbek, and everybody talks about Herbie in the later years of his career that maybe he wasn't the player. Well, obviously, he played 14, 15 years in the big leagues. Still was one of the better first basemen to play the game. And as I talked to you a little bit earlier this afternoon, I said what a shame it was, because you had Don Mattingly, you had Wally Joyner, Ken Hrbek. You had some great first basemen that had played in the American League. And being in Minnesota, not a lot of people heard about Ken Hrbek's defensive abilities, but they were outstanding.
As you know, I spent a lot of time there, and you have to see a player to appreciate him defensively. You have to see him play every day.
Oh, he's quick as a cat. For a guy that weighed 230, 240 pounds, he moved so well at first base and had such great footwork. It was such an asset to the rest of the defense in the infield.
Stahoviak, a fine fielding first baseman. Not a whole lot of pop in his bat yet, as he will foul it off. First and third, of course, the infield positions that you look for with people with some pop in the stick. Twins are 12th in the American League, averaging 4.6 runs a ball game. Only Kansas City and Toronto have scored fewer runs than Minnesota this year. Then sort of the double whammy for the Twins. They don't score a lot and they give up a lot.
That's the bad combination if you're going to be on top in your division. And I know that Tom Kelly in that rebuilding stage, he went through this in 1986. You win it in 87, do decent 88, 89. Rebuild, come back in 91, win it again. Rebuilding ever since.
Stahoviak fouling it back. It's interesting. Only 4 major league managers have held their current jobs longer than Kelly. That would be La Russa, Anderson, Jimmy Leyland, and Tony La Russa. But despite his tenure, Kelly is just 44 years old, and he's younger than all but 5 of the managers in the major leagues.
Well, I think it's a tribute to the Twins organization. Carl Pohlad, Andy MacPhail took on a younger guy that everybody liked.
Stahoviak popping it up. Luis Alicea in shallow right will put it away. So we got 1 out here in the 2nd inning. Tim Wakefield, of course, the knuckleballer going for the Red Sox tonight. Always fun to watch. And before the game, he was explaining to us the dynamics of the knuckleball.
Just because it dances around so much, the aerodynamics around the baseball, if you throw a straight ball, it's going to stay straight. But when you throw a ball that isn't spinning, it creates kind of a turbulence that makes it float around like a butterfly. And it's hard enough to hit a round ball with a round bat, but when it's moving around so much, it makes it even tougher.
He's very tough as the runner goes. Ground ball to Valentin. That'll cost the Red Sox the double play. Valentin able to get Leas, but by putting Munoz in motion, Tom Kelly avoids the twin killing. Munoz to second now with 2 outs. Interesting part about the knuckleball, it seems like half the people in the stands saying to themselves, I could throw that pitch myself, and the other half are saying, you know, I think I could hit it.
It's probably the most popular pitch thrown in the outfield in pregame warmups by all pitchers, outfielders, and everybody else, because you think you can throw it. It's not that easy of a pitch to throw. I know that I had the opportunity to play with Joe Niekro in 1987 with the Twins, and just playing catch was really kind of a circus because it was tough ball to catch. And Wakefield and Joe are a lot in similarity, simply because Wakefield can throw the fastball between 80 and 81 miles an hour, and Joe Niekro did the same thing. Now, Phil, on the other hand, couldn't throw the ball very hard.
But Phil and Joe were ones that helped turn Wakefield's career around. Wakefield released by the Pittsburgh Pirates in spring training, signed by the Red Sox. The Colorado Silver Bullets women's fast pitch team was playing down there. The Niekros were the managers. And that's the result of their handiwork. Look at that, a 1.66 earned run average to lead the American League, better than Dennis Martinez of Cleveland. And Masteller out of Michigan State is at the plate, a ball and 2 strikes to count.
If you ask Kevin Kennedy and you ask Al Nepper, the pitching coach for the Red Sox, what's the difference? You're talking about a guy in 1993 that was 14 and 61 in the past 2 years, 92 and 93, and here he is 9 and 1. They just say one word: confidence. He has confidence in the pitch. He's going to throw it behind in the count. He's going to make you hit the knuckleball. And he's confident he can get out major league hitters again. And he believes in himself. And I think that's the big key. And you're looking at a guy who was ready to quit baseball last year. He didn't want anything to do with it. Figured I've got a freak pitch anyway with a knuckleball. Not very many guys throw it in the big leagues. Everybody's hitting it. What am I doing wrong? And he took the one last step to see the Negro brothers, and the results are awfully positive, as you can see.
Munoz at second here with 2 outs. Mastelder reaches out, pokes it to short. Valentin with the backhand, throw to Mo Vaughn. Nice dig job by the glove dog at first base. Mo Vaughn with a nice defensive play. Twins fail to score. 0-0 after 1.5. Scoreless ball game as we go here to the bottom of the second. Nice play by the glove dog, Mo Vaughn, there at first base.
Outstanding job by Mo Vaughn. And you talk about the big guy when he swings the bat, but he does a nice job of picking this ball out of the dirt from John Valentin. As you see it hop way out in front of first, makes the nice pick to retire the Twins.
So a scoreless ball game. We move to the bottom of the second. Mike Greenwell leads off for Boston. Tim Naring and Troy O'Leary to follow. Greenwell making a nice return after running into Lee Tinsley here in Fenway Park in a game against the Tigers back on June the 29th. At the time, it looked like Tinsley, the center fielder, actually had suffered the worst of the injuries. But Greenwell, suffering a rib injury, eventually had to be placed on the DL and has returned in time for this series against the Twins. He had a 1-game rehab at Pawtucket. First time he's played with the Paw Sox, which is the Red Sox #1 farm club, since 1986. Went down there and picked up a couple of hits and 4 at-bats. 1-game rehab and right back to the big leagues.
Not a bad way to go. But anytime you heard any kind of rib injury or abdominal injury, it affects everything. You're throwing, you're running, you're swinging of the bat. It's tough to get over that.
Up and in on the Gator. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Remember when he came to the big leagues, the replacement for Yaz. Going into left field. And of course, then Jim Rice.
Now, they've had some great left fielders here in Boston, dating back to Ted Williams. Actually, going to go back further than that to Duffy Lewis.
A little before my time.
Yeah,
not far, but just a little bit.
They had the tradition of Ted Williams, followed by Carl Yastrzemski, followed by Jim Rice, and then Mike Greenwell. Number 9 is Williams, 4 Joe Cronin, 1 Bobby Doerr, and 8 Carl Yastrzemski. The 4 numbers retired by the Red Sox in their long and illustrious history, dating right back to the beginnings of the American League in 1901. Great left-handed hitters. A tough ballpark for left-handed hitters. It's 380 to straightaway right field. Ted Williams going back-to-back 25 home run seasons. Did it 6 years in a row, 46 through 51. Mo Vaughn has done it the last 3 years. He now has 26 home runs this year. And of course, he has 69 and 70. Here's Greenwell driving a base hit to right field. Well, the Red Sox pick up their first hit against Brad Radke.
Radke goes back to the well a little bit too often. The second pitch was in the same spot and a swing and miss. This time Greenwell waiting on it, drives the ball hard, and a great shot from up above that you can see him hit that ball out in front of home plate, jerk it down the right field line. Mastelder looked like he had a little bit of an idea to try to throw him out at first base.
And Greenwell aboard to start the second inning safely for the Red Sox. Tim Naring, the third baseman, will be the batter. Naring has had a fine season for the Red Sox. Sox trading their regular third baseman of the last couple of years, Scott Cooper, to St. Louis in a trade that brought Mark Whitten here, who's since been traded to Philadelphia earlier today. And Naring, who was their starting shortstop for the 1990 season, has also played a lot of second base, given the third base job, and he's responded nicely. Tremendous young man, a great work ethic, has battled back from a number of injuries, shoulder and back. Healthy last year, really for the first time in his major league career. Played a lot of second base along with Scott Fletcher, but moving to third base, doing quite a job, and for a long time leading the American League in hitting. He has cooled recently since a shoulder injury in Minnesota right before the All-Star break.
He's the type of player that goes along with a Puckett and a Mo Vaughn, that they're the type of guys you want on your ball club, because you know they come to the ballpark every day, that want to play, and they see their name not in the lineup. Maybe one day they'll go in the manager's office. What are you doing? Give me a day off. I want to play baseball.
Naring drives this one to center. Rich Becker will move over and make the catch, and Greenwell goes back to first base. Now, next time on Baseball Night in America, many of you will see the Toronto Blue Jays welcome the Red Sox to the Sky Dome. Other areas will see the Twins host the Kansas City Royals, or the Brewers take on the Orioles, plus other regional action. Check your local listings for the game in your area Saturday, August the 5th at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on ABC.
Hey, get a hold of one, kid. Come on. Come on, Troy.
Another great find for General Manager Dan Duquette and the Red Sox, Troy O'Leary, picked up on waivers from the Milwaukee Brewers, and is third in hitting in the American League with a .333 average. Base hit, right field. Greenwell round second, will put on the brakes as Metzeler will fire it back into Chuck Knobloch. O'Leary picking up his 5th hit in this weekend series against the Twins.
It's a nice job by O'Leary, because he's going to pull this ball right between the first and second base, where Stahowiak was holding the runner on. But more importantly, Greenwell, when he goes into second base, it really looks like he's heading to third, and you'll see him put on the brakes. People say, what's he doing that for? Trying to commit Metzeler maybe to throw a bad throw into third base, miss the cutoff man. A lot of good things can happen through hustle.
Sox threatening here in the bottom of the second. First and second with one out. Mike McFarland at the plate, swung on and fouled. McFarland, another player the Red Sox picked up. The Sox, only 11 of the 25-man roster was with this ball club when they grouped in Fort Myers, Florida, April the 3rd. McFarland is one of a number of players that Dan Duquette has gone out and signed. Ball club is more than half turned over since the start of spring training. McFarland playing the last 4 or 5 seasons with the Kansas City Royals. Sox like the pop in his bat, and he's won a couple of ball games for him with late inning home runs. Trying to pick up Mike Greenwell from second base and Troy O'Leary from first. Off for Radke, but it could have been a double play ball, and suddenly the bases are loaded with one out. Radke handles that cleanly, and he's probably out of the inning.
This ball leaves the bat of McFarland back at Radke, but you'll see what happens. He falls off to the first base side, not on the glove hand side, and instead of trying to backhand this ball, he tries to turn the ball glove inside out almost to try to catch that ball. When it does, it slips off the heel of the glove, and everybody ends up safe.
Scored a base hit. Sox have picked up 3 off Radke here in the second inning. Number 9 hitter, the second baseman, Luis Alicea. Alicea goes after the first pitch, drives it to left center field. Becker goes over, camps under it. He will make the catch. Tagging at third base now will be Greenwell, and Greenwell able to score on the sacrifice fly, and the Red Sox take the lead 1-0. Sox get an RBI sac fly from a number 9 hitter.
Number 51, center fielder, Willie McGee.
Nobody likes better than to come to the plate with the bases loaded, one out, knowing that all you got to do is hit the ball hard somewhere or get the ball in the air to the outfield, and you got a chance to get an RBI and put your ball club up, particularly when a guy's got a 166 earned run average, as Wakefield does, pitching on the mound for you.
Willie McGee will try and add to the total. McGee goes after the first pitch, loops one, could be trouble in left center. Coming on, nice catch though by Cordova. So Cordova makes a nice catch to retire the side. 1-0 Boston. Welcome back, everyone. Baseball Night in America. Red Sox have a 1-0 lead. Twins come to bat here in the third inning. Lots of talk now around Major League Baseball about the wild card. Now, if things ended right where they were right now, the Eastern Division and the Western Division would open at home. California would have to play the Texas Rangers. They're the leading team for the wild card race right now, while the Red Sox would wouldn't host the Cleveland Indians. They'd have home field advantage in games 3, 4, and 5. First 2 games would be at Jacobs Field in Cleveland.
And it's a little bit amazing, probably, the Cleveland Indians trying to figure that one out. We've got one of the best records in baseball, and we're not going to be able to have the home field advantage, but that's just the way the number falls on the rotation basis.
Jeff Rabelais on the rotation basis will lead off here in the third inning. Rabelais was the one that broke up Wakefield's no-hit bid with a base hit with 1 out in the 8th inning at the Metrodome in early July. He's returning to the lineup after suffering a hamstring injury. He has not played since the 15th of July, but in his first at-bat gets a base hit against Wakefield. Right now, let's go to our ABC studios and check in with John Saunders.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. We'll keep an eye on your game, but first updating this one between the Rangers and the Yankees. 3 back in the wild card race are the Yankees and looking for their 6th consecutive win. Here's one reason why. Great defense. Luis Polonia robs Greer, and then into third base, it's a double play as they get Tettleton trying to tag. The Yankees lead at 1-0 on Don Mattingly's home run. Elsewhere, San Francisco against Florida, 2nd inning. Tommy Gregg looks like he has a hit. Barry Bonds comes a long way. Bonds has also driven in the only run for San Francisco. They trail the Marlins right now 2-1 in the 3rd inning. And the Braves and the Pirates, more great defense. Blauser, this is a hit, right? Jay Bell says no. The backhanded flip over to King, down to first, and they get the double play. This one's tied at 1-1 in the 3rd. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, John. A lot of great baseball action going on. And, of course, the Red Sox keep their eyes on Yankee Stadium in New York. Both the Yankees and the Orioles creeping their way back into not necessarily the wild card race, but the American League Eastern Division race.
Well, the Yankees, a lot of attention being centered on Darryl Strawberry's return from Columbus. But I think the guy that has turned that ball club around has been Don Mattingly. He's hit 400 since the break, 2 home runs in the last 4 days, and playing his usual great defense. So you look to Mattingly, the veteran of the Yankee clubhouse, to wake that clubhouse up and get them going again. And I think Polonia's played very well in the last 2 ball games. He was another guy expected to be gone when Strawberry showed up. Of course, now the Yankees trying to back up on the contract, according to Strawberry's agent, Bill Goodstein. Be interesting to see. The Bronx Zoo's well and aware over there.
Things always interesting in New York. Vaughn holding there with Rabelais at first base. Knobloch having his difficulties against the knuckleball. Fouls it back. 0-2. Knobloch had a triple to start the ball game. Willie McGee misjudging it out in center, carried over McGee's head, wound up against a garage door out there in center field, 420 feet away. Knobloch wound up at third base, tried to steal home with 2 outs, but was thrown out. 1 run, 3 hits for the Red Sox. No runs, 3 hits for the Twins. The clubs see a lot of each other. They both train in beautiful Fort Myers, Florida. They're spring training headquarters located just 6 miles apart, and they played, counting the replacement games, 19 times this spring.
Well, you try to reduce on travel, try to save money, and you play against each other. They can hurt you in the long run.
Fouled off by Knobloch. Yeah, 19 games against the Twins in the spring, and opening day, Minnesota at Fenway Park.
It makes it kind of tough on the pitchers, particularly because they're trying to work on different things, and when you face hitters that you're not going to see a lot, it makes it a lot better in spring training because you might be able to work on a pitch and have a surprise, maybe come up with a snappier slider, maybe a forkball in spring training. If you're facing a ball club like the Red Sox 19 times, you're going to reveal some of that new weapons.
There's the knuckleball weapon, floats up high, 2 balls, 2 strikes. It wasn't this spring, it was a year ago. We were broadcasting Red Sox games. We saw all 5 of Jim Deshaies' spring training starts.
All 5. You got Shea. Well, that's one good thing. He didn't have to travel far to start his spring games. But Jimmy out of baseball.
On holding with Rabelais. 2-2 pitch is a fastball for a strike. Snuck the fastball by Knobloch. Strike 3 called. That's 3 on the night for Wakefield, who questions Chuck Merriweather.
Nobby's probably giving the explanation to Merriweather that, hey, this isn't quite right. You know what I mean? He's throwing a knuckleball. It's tough enough for me to hit, hard enough for you to call. Now he's going to sneak a 75-mile-an-hour fastball down and in. He fooled you and fooled me both. And you're calling that the strike. You see Knobloch give up on the pitch early. Caught enough for the corner to be called. 2 strikes, you got to be hacking. That doesn't sound like a pitcher talking, does it?
Oh, no, not at all. You'd like to see him widen the strike zone, raise the strike zone.
From 18 inches to 40 inches wide would be great. Then I might become out of retirement after 8 years out. No, I think it's set the way it should. I know the mound's going to be raised apparently, or that's still in question whether they're going to raise the mound up. Try to speed up rule of the ball games. Bring the advantage back supposedly to the pitchers. But what do you think about 3 inches? It's not very much when you start raising the mounds.
For some pitchers, it'll tell you it really doesn't make any difference.
Well, you go to Detroit and the mound's very low, which is great for a single ball pitcher.
Becker fouls it back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Roger Clemens was saying that the mound really isn't the same level at every ballpark now.
Well, it's different. Particularly, I know pitching in the National League, you would go to Dodger Stadium, you felt like you were on Mount Everest. The same in San Diego. And then you come back to your home ballpark, mine being St. Louis, and the mound was big, but it wasn't high. You always felt like you were high off the ground, but you weren't as big around.
The 1-2 pitch. Becker holds up, and it's ruled a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Of course, it was the big guy in St. Louis, Bob Gibson, that caused the mound to be lowered in the first place.
Right. That's
when he had that, what, 1.12 ERA in 1968, and that's the year that Carl Yastrzemski won the batting title at 301, and they figured they got to get more offense back in the game. Strike 3 called. Wakefield picks up number 4. Twins will leave Rabelais at first base. We played 2.5 here at Fenway. 1-0 Boston. Welcome back, everyone, to ABC's Baseball Night in America. Kirby Puckett talking with Chuck Merriweather there between innings.
Well, I think there's a little debate going on about the strike zone, and Puckett letting him know what he thinks is strike from 125 feet away, sitting over into the dugout. Merriweather, one of the nicest umpires you'll find, and one of the nicest gentlemen in baseball, is having a tough enough day back there trying to call that knuckleball for a strike. Get a couple strikeouts. Puck having a day off says, oh, let me manage, let me ride the umps a little bit, have some fun over here.
Kirby went 0 for 4 against the knuckleball in Minnesota, given the night off. Twins will move on after tonight to Toronto. He's been a Red Sox killer, though, in the past. Had a couple of 7 RBI games against the Sox last year.
Well, one thing about Puck, I think you read about him, you watch him play, and I was fortunate enough to play with him for a year and a half. Never been around a player that comes to the ballpark ready to play every day. I mean, he just enjoys the game, loves the game. Had a nice quote here in a Boston paper yesterday in Peter Gammon's column, saying, I like to be around people who like to play the game, have fun playing it, and Mo Vaughn's one of them.
He likes to be around people that play the game the right way.
That's right. Play this baseball game hard, hit and run, do the things it takes to win. He's got 2 rings on those fingers to take care of that, too.
And he's really taken a liking to Mo Vaughn, the 2 of them getting together, both for dinner in Minneapolis when the Red Sox were there, and also Puckett taking Vaughn under his wings at the All-Star game. Vaughn appearing in his first All-Star game down at the ballpark in Arlington. John Valentin, Mo Vaughn, and Jose Canseco for the Red Sox here in the 3rd inning. Valentin with a career-high 16 home runs, 3 of them coming in 1 ball game against Seattle. On a night he went 5 for 5. Up to the called 3rd here. Radke picks up his 2nd strikeout. Well, Wednesday night on ABC, it's me and the boys, Ellen, Grace Under Fire, and Roseanne. Then want to know the best time to ask for a raise? For romance? Now, Primetime shows you how to get the most from your body clock. That's all Wednesday right here on ABC. Ask for a raise? Romance?
Not around my house.
Here's Mo Vaughn. Vaughn goes after the first pitch and fouls it back. Vaughn with a 5-run batted in performance here on Saturday afternoon.
It's great what he does for this community here in Boston. It's fantastic. Goes on the streets, talks with troubled kids, spends time at hospitals, gives back to the youth what baseball's given to him, and I think that's something baseball needs to do more of. You need more Mo Vaughns in the game today. Really love playing the game.
And he loves the kids, too. Every year he takes a bunch of inner city youth to see the Nutcracker Ballet. So they don't necessarily have to like the ballet, but they should see that part of the world and soak up the culture. Tremendously popular here in New England. As I said, it's too early, really, to, I guess, seriously start thinking of MVPs. But if you were to do so, his name has to be right up near the top.
Well, I don't think you not only look at the numbers a player puts on the board, but what those numbers mean to his ball club. And without Mo Vaughn, obviously, the Red Sox would not be in first place.
Driven to right field. Masteller will move over. He hits the ball in the air to the outfield here at Fenway. The crowd roars. That one well short. Masteller making the catch. 2 outs here in the 3rd.
Number 33.
Anytime you have Mo Vaughn at the plate, the excitement, this ball gets in on the hands a little bit. Mo doesn't swing it, but you look at all the crowd in the background are all on their feet. This ball's going to carry out of the ballpark. And tonight, the weather's a great great night to have a baseball game, but it's a little bit muggy. The humidity's high. Ball's not going to carry as well.
Yeah, pretty good baseball. Well, I mentioned the breeze blowing out here at Fenway. Radke, a pitcher who's given up 20 home runs on the year, including 4 his last time out against the Red Sox. O'Leary took him deep twice. Valentin and Vaughn also hitting home runs. Radke, 22-year-old out of Tampa, Florida. He has Canseco down 0-2.
One concern the Twins have with Radke is he's not consistently getting into the 6th, 7th, and 8th inning. And a lot of his starts, he's out after 5. He's gone to the 7th inning 4 or 5 times, to the 8th once.
Seiko fouls it off. He's won his last 4 starts, 5 of his last 6. Leads the Twins with 7 wins on the year. Made the ball club, as he mentioned, in spring training. He was helped when the Twins picked up Greg W. Harris. First day with the Twins. Harris was playing catch, broke a finger, had to go on the DL. That opened a spot. Brad Radke took that spot.
Wally Pipp.
It's a tough spring for rookies to make a ball club with only 13 or 14 days of spring training. Canseco breaks the bat, rolls it to third. Scotty Leyes getting it over to Stahoviak, and in time now to get Jose Canseco. We return with Baseball Night in America. The Twins against the Red Sox after this. Artie Cordova leads off for the Twins here. Top of the 4th inning, Cordova, Pedro Munoz, and Scott Stahoviak. Knuckleballer Wakefield so far has baffled Minnesota through the first 3. Cordova will pop it up. I mean, nearing the third baseman will put it away. 1 gone here in the 4th. Sox looking to Wakefield to play the stopper and also pitch some innings. He's been so good at doing that for them this year. Wakefield joined the ball club from Pawtucket the end of May, beat the California Angels in Anaheim 12-1. Sox had a couple of pitchers. Seeley and Von Eshelman had gone out. So 2 days later he came back on the 30th with just 2 days rest and beat the Oakland A's 1-0.
How phenomenal is the 166 earned run average of Tim Wakefield this year in the big leagues?
Pedro Munoz goes after the first pitch. Bo Vaughn coming over. Not going to get fooled on this one, but it stays back in the crowd.
The Red Sox and their fans hope that he will keep it down that low, of course, but the last one to do that, have it that low, was Smokey Joe Wood. 1915, had a 149 earned run average, led the league, and they were world champions. So they would like for all of that, of course, here in Boston to fall in place this year.
Win it all for the first time since 1918. Minnesota, of course, has won it twice in the last, 8 years? 1987, when George Frazier was a pitcher in this ball club, and again in 1991. Pedro Munoz, line drive, base hit over the head of Luis Alicea in front of the onrushing Troy O'Leary out in right field. Well, Baseball Night in America is brought to you tonight by Buick and your local dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. Sears, come see the many sides of Sears. And Pizza Hut, makers of stuffed crust pizza. It's hard to resist eating it crust first. Twins now with 4 hits off of Wakefield. Left-handed batting first baseman Scott Stahoviak, who popped to second base back in the 2nd inning. 250 on the year, a couple of home runs for Scott. Twins for first basemen this year: Gerald Clark, Chip Hale, Kevin Moss, Dan Masteller, David McCarty, Matt Marullo, Pedro Munoz, who had an awful outing here on Friday, Jeff Rebele, and Stahoviak. 9 first basemen used by the Twins. We're just past the halfway point of the season. Ground ball, second base, could be 2. Nope, Alicea bobbled and got it to Valentin for 1. Stahoviak will beat the relay. Sox had the double play, but Alicea couldn't handle it cleanly. Stahoviak aboard with 2 outs. Alicea has been a fine second baseman for the Red Sox. Found a home here in the American League. Spent about 6 years trying to win the everyday job in St. Louis. Never able really to quite do so. He and Jose Oquendo going at it. Taking off, Stachowiak got a great jump against Wakefield and steals second. Not much of a chance for McFarland with that one.
Wakefield has a short step to home plate, but the big key for him is it's a slow delivery at the very end. You'll see he slows it down. Then you have the knuckleball. McFarland comes out and meets the ball, but fumbles a little bit in the glove, and that allows Stachowiak to get into second base.
Scott Leyes is the hitter. I think that was a curveball that time from Wakefield.
Well, the glove that Mike McFarland uses to catch the knuckleball is an awfully big catcher's mitt. It's almost like a first baseman's mitt. Pretty good shot of it right there. That McFarland, where he goes, that goes. It goes everywhere with him.
McFarland had to learn how to catch. There aren't too many knuckleballers really around anymore. I don't think McFarland had come here, had never caught one previously.
Well, it's tough because most catchers will never put a glove on their hands of that nature. Wakefield, as you know, not only does his glove go with him, that one does also, and he's the one that gave that to McFarland. Check swing.
Appeal made to Ted Hendry umpiring at first. Did not go. 3 balls and a strike.
Amazing thing about McFarland and Wakefield. McFarland with 13 passed balls on the year, and only 3 from Wakefield. Tells you a couple of things. Wakefield's ball moves a lot, but it's within the strike zone. Easy to knock down. Not a lot of passed balls. Balls are not in the dirt.
That one is fouled back by Leyes. In his last start, Wakefield pitched 7 1/3 innings without allowing a walk. That was his first appearance of his career in which he pitched more than 3 innings without allowing a base on balls. He has not walked a batter tonight, but he has gone 3-2 now on Leyes. Twins have Stachowiak at second base. 2 outs here. Top of the 4th inning. 1-0 Boston. Leyes will go down swinging. Wakefield picks up his 5th strikeout of the night. We have played 3.5 here at Fenway Park in Boston. 1-0 Sox. America here at Fenway Park. Red Sox with a 1-0 lead over the Minnesota Twins. Boston batting here bottom of the 4th. Mike Greenwell, Timmy Naring, and Troy O'Leary coming up against the rookie right-hander Brad Radke. Greenwell, hot shot to short. Flagged down by Rebele. Fires to first and gets him. 1 pitch and 1 out here in the Boston half of the 4th inning. Rebele, the only player in the American League this year to start at all 4 infield positions. Pat Mears gets the night off, and Rebele handles the play at short.
Does a great job, and if you think of the Twins, you think of Rebele as one of the best utility players in the big leagues at this time. As you said, played all 4 infield positions, shortstop being one of the tougher positions because of the range that you have to play that position. It's nice that Tom Kelly can give a Pat Mears a day off and stick a guy in like Rebele, and you really don't lose anything. Still got the good defense. Rebele on the year is hitting the ball extremely well. 289. Can play all the positions. One of those 9 first basemen you talked about.
Everybody but you, I think, has played there this year. Ooh. Here's Tim Naring, who lined out to Rich Becker in center field his first at bat. Naring was rolling along, suffered a sprained shoulder diving for a ground ball at the Metrodome. That was on July the 8th. Has not had an RBI since then. Didn't go on the disabled list, but spent a couple of days out of the lineup. His average now at 324 on the year. Has 6 hits now in his last 31 times at bat since his return from that injury.
The success Radke's had tonight due in part 15th. This is the 16th hitter that he's faced. 13 out of the 16 times he's thrown strike 1.
Just the second man he has walked tonight as Naring draws the free ticket to first base with 1 out here in the 4th. Yeah, he asked a lot of pitching coach. It's a pitcher's best pitch, and the answer is strike 1.
Strike 1. Best pitch in baseball, whether it be a curveball, slider, knuckleball, changeup, forkball, whatever you want to throw up there, fastball is strike 1. I think that's the success that Dennis Eckersley points to as being one of the top closers in Major League Baseball. I remember a year ago they kept count. 79% of the time strike 1. And that automatically puts that hitter on the defense, and you can pretty much do what you want to.
You're down in the count in a hurry as O'Leary looks at ball 1 here. O'Leary has 8 home runs this year, half of them 4 against the Minnesota Twins. He's had 1 2-home run game in his Major League career. That was in Minnesota, and it was against Radke on July the 5th at the Metrodome. One of 4 that Radke gave up that night, but won the ball game 6-4 over the Red Sox. season. He's given up 20 home runs on the year. Has kept the Sox in the yard tonight, but trails 1-0 here in the bottom of the fourth. O'Leary will foul it back. And a number of signings by Red Sox Executive Vice President and General Manager Dan Duquette. Some have not worked out. Seems like most have, and O'Leary, one of the true finds. Hooked him up with some great ones, picking up Eric Hansen, who has 8 wins. Wakefield. Wakefield was available to everybody.
And nobody wanted the knuckleballer that didn't throw hard and couldn't get anybody out. And look at him, 9-1. Of course, O'Leary, a little change of scenery does a lot for players at times. They get into an organization, maybe they feel stalemated, where they're really not going to be able to progress. A manager at the major league level might not like their work ethic or may not like them as a player, and they lose that value. And then it's somebody, it just takes one guy to like you, one guy to give you the chance, and Dan Duquette's done that with some players here in Boston.
A lot of them have paid huge dividends for the Red Sox. And the Red Sox are leading the American League East. They have been on top since the 9th of May. And Aaron Seeley, their number 2 starters, won 2 games all year. He is on his 3rd rehab assignment now in Fort Myers. Roger Clemens has won 3 games all season. Jose Canseco has only 8 home runs and really hasn't been a big contributor to this stage.
A lot of people have pointed to the rest of the league here in the Eastern Division. Toronto being down.
Leary, a little pop fly to left field. Marty Cordova moves under it. He'll make the catch. 2 outs.
Possibly the Red Sox weren't playing that well. The rest of the league wasn't playing well at all, meaning the Yankees, the Orioles, Toronto. But they've been able to overcome a lot of adversity.
Well, this copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent from the Office of the Commissioner. Bald strike to Mike McFarland, another player picked up by the Red Sox during the early days of spring training. Red Sox start tonight. They've got a 5-game lead over the Orioles, 5.5 up on the Yankees beginning play on this Monday night.
I think one other plus that you have to look at when you think of the Red Sox, you talk about the turnover of players, talk about the turnover of coaches. Herm Starrett starts out the season in spring training as a pitching coach. They end up with John Cumberland, and a week ago they switched to Al Nipper.
Mysterious move. Nipper is the pitching coach, so 3 pitching coaches.
Said 3 pitching coach. There's Al, former Red Sox.
New manager in Kevin Kennedy here in Boston this year, and a brand new coaching staff.
And what makes it really remarkable is the fact that he's been able to blend all these personalities through the coaches and himself and the players and the fans to keep this ball club in first place. And that's a tribute, of course, to Kevin Kennedy as a manager to be able to motivate these guys into a winning ball club.
Well, there have been comings and goings here. The Sox have used 45 players this year, including 23 pitchers already. As your team playing, someone will walk down the passageway, and I'll bump my partner Jerry Remy. I'll say, "Who's that?"
Well, one thing, you look at the guys that he's brought in here. McFarland's come from a winning organization in the Kansas City Royals.
Farland here fouling it at the plate.
You look at Witten, even though he hasn't been successful, traded to Philadelphia, came from St. Louis, where he had an awful lot of good years there, and I'm sure that Dan Duquette felt like he could come here and do the same thing. Unfortunately, he didn't. He's been moved on. Hansen's been successful before. Of course, Seeley, the same thing, has been successful here in Boston. Giving a guy a chance to play makes a big difference.
Kennedy and Duquette and company have completely rebuilt the bullpen since opening day. The bullpen is brand new. The 5 or 6 pitchers who were out there on opening day against the Twins no longer perform in that role.
Take a look at this setup for Mike McFarland and what makes it unusual. Radke's throwing the ball away, but yet second baseman Knobloch all the way over by second, short in the hole, third on the line.
There he goes on the 3-2 pitch, and it's fouled back by McFarland.
So it makes it interesting whenever you get in team meetings and pitchers, catchers get together and they try to set that up. They'll set up a situation, all right, we're going to pitch him away, play him away, and they'll do that. Here you see him setting with the pull, the Twins. And then you get Radke throwing the ball away from him. You're going to your defense weakness, because now all he has to do is punch the ball through the right side for the base hit, which is a big hole between first and second.
Again, Naring on a 3-2 pitch, fly ball right field. And Patrick Masteller is there. Will make the catch, and that'll retire the Red Sox here in the 4th inning. No runs, 1 man left. Top of the 5th here at Fenway Park in Boston. Baseball night in America. Red Sox have a 1-0 lead. Luis Alicea knocking in a run with a sacrifice fly back in the 2nd inning. That's the difference in the ball game. Tim Wakefield, who leads the American League with a 1.66 ERA going into tonight, facing Dan Masteller, leading off for the Minnesotans here in the 5th inning. Wakefield, after his 10th win of the year, he has won his last 5 decisions, has not lost since being beaten by the Blue Jays June the 14th. Lost that one 5-3, then had 2 no decisions, and has reeled off 5 straight wins, beating the Tigers, the Royals, Twins, the Rangers, and the White Sox. Fastball that time for a strike. Every so often he'll sneak one in there.
Well, I think what's deceptive about it, he keeps the same exact motion that he uses to throw the knuckleball, but at the very end he increases his body speed and his arm speed to throw the fastball. Another fastball.
Twins have 4 hits, 3 singles, and a leadoff triple to open the ball game by Knobloch.
On a ball misjudged by Willie McGee, we might add. But, a ball that was very catchable in the 1st inning. McGee misjudged the ball and misjudged it into a triple. Ended up in the deepest part of the ballpark. Not a mistake that guy will make very often.
So Twins have a runner at 3rd, nobody out. Wakefield comes back, strikes out Becker, strikes out Cordova. Then Knobloch tries to steal home and is out. That was the end of the inning for the Twins.
Interesting this time with the bat with Mansteller. It's kind of amusing. It was knuckleball, ball 1, fastball, fastball, fastball. He hasn't seen the knuckleball since. Wakefield has him set up now for the knuckleball if he wants to go for the strikeout.
On the 3-2 pitch. Popped up on the infield. Mo Vaughn is there, 1 out.
Wakefield, first pitch for strikes. 11 out of 16 hitters that he's faced. So both these pitchers tonight getting ahead in the count, throwing strikes. Of course, Wakefield a little more difficult to do that since the majority of his first pitches have been the knuckleball. McFarland on the receiving end of those knuckleballs. Interestingly, had never caught a knuckleballer.
He has now.
He has. He's catching a lot of knuckleballs right now. And you talked to Jeff Torborg, former manager, of course, of the Chicago White Sox, New York Mets. Way to catch a knuckleball is stay very relaxed. Try to keep your glove into the center of your body at behind home plate, and then react to the ball as it gets about 2 feet from you. If you start trying to jerk that glove or anticipate the movement, you're in trouble.
Wakefield, of course, he's in a good stretch right now too, but his seems to dance more than, I mean, I've seen the Tom Candiottis and the Charlie Huffs of the world.
Well, it's almost like going up the old country road that's got a little bump in it. It'll come at you and go down, rise up, and then just drop out from nowhere, as that pitch did there to Jeff Revelay. And it's a pitch, as I said earlier in the ball game, it's like trying to catch a butterfly without a net. And once Revelay's got to react late, so does McFarland. As the ball gets away and he's got to take a snap at it. That ball was on the outer half of the plate, and at the last second it dives away from the hitter.
Wakefield says, despite the fact that it may look like he's not expending much effort out there, he says actually it's working hard. He says it's not easy.
Well, you think, take a baseball in your hands in his last start. Whew, that knuckleball right there was not any kind of movement that Revelay or any other Twins hitter has seen tonight.
6 strikeouts.
If you watch the movement on this knuckleball, it looks like it's going to float away from the hitter, and then it dives. You see McFarland's glove dive inside to Revelay, and you feel like it's right there. You're ready to hit it. You feel like you're right on it as a hitter. It just disappears.
So many hitters will say, well, you go up there, you see ball, hit ball. Well, you see ball, you swing at ball, and ball's not there anymore.
Ball's not there anymore. It disappears.
Where did it go? Number 9 hitter, Matt Walbeck. Twins picked him up from the Chicago Cubs a couple of years ago. Trade that sent Willie Banks to the National League. Walbeck makes contact, rolls it to Alicea at second. Over to Mo Vaughn, an easy 1-2-3 inning for Tim Wakefield. We played 4.5 here at Fenway, 1-0 Boston. Night in America continues from Fenway Park. Red Sox have just 3 hits, but a sacrifice fly by Luis Alicea in the 2nd inning that scored Mike Greenwell. The difference in the ball game, Alicea leads off for the Red Sox here in the 5th. He's their number 9 hitter. And top of the order, Willie McGee and John Valentin. Alisea has found a home at second base here in Boston. Twins fans will recall when Twins traded Tom Brunansky to St. Louis for Tommy Herr in 1988. Alisea was the man who was supposed to take over for Herr. He spent 6 seasons going back and forth with Jose Oquendo. Never could quite win the job.
Well, again, a change of scenery, change of leagues, probably more than anything.
Get off the artificial turf.
Absolutely, and it makes
range.
makes a great positive move for you, because number two things happen here. The pitchers don't know him. He's got to learn the hitters, and it's all new ballparks. It's like a whole new attitude that you take over coming to a new league.
Drives this one down the right field line, just foul. Alisea had some trouble at the plate. He was below the Mendoza line by quite a bit, but then really picked it up.
Isn't that nice to be famous for one thing, the Mendoza line? You're on I-95 now.
He was at 153 on May the 20th and has hit at a 287 clip since then. There was some doubt back in that part of May whether he'd be able to remain in the lineup, and he has. He's hit well and has shown great range here at second base. 0-2 pitch, strike 3 called on the outside part of the plate. Let's go to our baseball studios and check in with John Saunders. John?
All right, Bob and George, thanks a lot. The Colorado Rockies, you wonder why they're leading the National League West, 10 games over 500. It's been the long ball. Andres Galarraga, his 20th home run of the year was a 2-run home run. The Rockies lead the Phillies now 8-2 play in the 5th inning. You had a glimpse. Here's another look at the home run leaders. 3 of the top 5 are Rockies, and Dante Bichette is tied for 6th. Bob and George.
Hey, thank you, John. Willie McGee going after a pitch and grounding out here to short. 2 gone in the 5th inning. Colorado Rockies. What happened to those days when it took 10 years to build a winning ball club when you were an expansion team?
Well, I think the big difference is Bob Gebhardt's gone out there and decided to win right out of the chute. And he had a manager, a rookie manager in Don Baylor, that instills into his players, we're here to win. I don't care if we are an expansion franchise and nobody expects us to win. They're building us a new ballpark. We're here to win some baseball games. And, of course, they win an awful lot of games at Coors Field.
Yeah, we're in the American League, obviously. Don't see Coors Field, but they were saying the other night, Andy Van Slyke, who's played in both Camden Yards and Coors Field this year, says they're equal. So they're tremendous. John Valentin skying one to center field. Rich Becker moves under it, makes the catch, and a quick 1-2-3 inning for Brad Radke, who has settled down nicely. A 1-0 ball game. Here at Fenway, a 1-0 lead for the Red Sox. Chuck Knobloch, top of the order for the Twins, up against Tim Wakefield. Knobloch followed by Rich Becker and then Marty Cordova. Knobloch is 1 for 2 on the night. So the knuckleball inside. He's really filled a long-time problem position for Minnesota and filled it well the last 4 or 5 seasons since being named Rookie of the Year in '91. Twins were looking for a second baseman, I remember, all during the late 1980s.
Wakefield with 77 total pitches, 50 for strikes, averaging 15 pitches per inning. And if he goes 9, of course, he's right in that blend where you want him to be. Not a lot of pitches.
Knobloch pushes this one right side and booted by Alisea, and Knobloch will be aboard on an error by his fellow second baseman Alisea to open the 6th.
Ball comes off, gets him in the in-between hops. It's really between where the grass meets the dirt, and that makes it a tough play for him. And as the ball hits on that second bounce, it's going to gain. He comes up, tries to catch it, playing pretty deep. Knobloch, who possesses some great speed, he's got 23 stolen bases on the year. Prior to this inning starting, I said to my cohort, this is an inning the Twins are going to have to do something. They're in the top half of their lineup if they're going to get after Mr. Wakefield.
I think a little easier to run on than most, but Knobloch's also been caught more than most. Only Tom Goodwin at Kansas City has been caught more than Knobloch, who has been thrown out 10 times trying to steal this year. Sox have had their problems defensively. 70th error of the season. Rich Becker will foul it back. 70th error in their 80th ball game. Sox at the bottom of the American League in fielding.
Try to build your ball club around pitching and defense. The Sox, of course, this year counting on Aaron Selig to be a mainstay. Number 2 starter has missed 56 ball games. That's tough to say. He's missed 56. Figure 10 starts, maybe 11 starts out of that. Of course, Eshelman just activated today, and Clemens missed 31 ball games. Restart.
And Knobloch misses it there. As Wakefield with a great move. Knobloch frozen at first base, and Vaughn tags him out. Wow.
He might not have only learned how to throw the knuckleball from the Negro brothers, but Charlie Huff was another knuckleballer in the American and National League that was very good. A quick hop move by Wakefield, and it freezes Knobloch. And that is something that Charlie Huff was very good at. You saw him first movement.
Now he was going.
Absolutely. He had the steal sign the whole way, the green light. He's going. As soon as he saw the first movement of Wakefield, he was headed towards second base. Froze him.
2-1 pitch to Rich Becker. Pop foul behind the plate. Mike McFarland gets rid of the mask. Makes the catch. 2 outs now for Minnesota here in the 6th inning. Well, Saturday on ABC Sports, America's stars of the senior tour traveled to Northern Ireland. Arnold Palmer, Jim Albus lead a strong U.S. contingent into battle against an international field of legends at the Senior British Open. And in a special edition of Wide World of Sports, the NFL's 2 new teams kick off the preseason when the Jacksonville Jaguars meet the Carolina Panthers live at the AFC-NFC Hall of Fame game, 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific, all Saturday here on ABC. Baseball tonight here on ABC. Twins and Sawx, baseball night in America at Fenway Park. Great ball game. Wakefield against Radke. Red Sox lead Minnesota 1-0. Marty Cordova facing Tim Wakefield. Lines it foul. Good-looking hitter, Cordova. Liked him when we saw him in spring training, and had a fine year for the Minnesota Twins.
Tom Kelly type of player. Somebody comes to the ballpark, works hard, a lot of extra batting practice. Saw him today prior to the ball game. Jerry White, former outfielder with Montreal, St. Louis, hitting a lot of fly balls off the green monster and left, showing him all the different areas it's going to take off on him. This is not an easy ballpark to play the outfield in because you have so many different cuts into the outfield, so many different angles. Of course, the short porch in left field with the green monster.
Now, left field is famous, but right field ranks among the most difficult to play in baseball. First walk issued by Wakefield tonight, and this was a curveball, I believe it was, on a 3-1 pitch.
The designated hitter,
Cordova draws a walk with 2 outs here in the 6th inning.
Pedro Munoz.
Twins cleanup hitter Pedro Munoz.
He's been able to solve Wakefield tonight with 2 singles.
Wasn't able to solve first base defensively here on Friday evening, committing 3 errors, and I think after about 6 innings they moved him out to right field. One play, there was a ground ball to first base, and he got a little confused and missed the bag trying to step on it.
Don't put me in foreign territories again. Keep me in the outfield.
Especially keep me at the plate with a bat in my hands, because he is dangerous. Lifts it out to right field. Charging on now is O'Leary to make the catch, and that'll retire Munoz. And the Minnesota Twins here in the 6th inning. 1 error, 1 man left, 1-0 Sox. Mo Vaughn will lead off for the Boston Red Sox here, bottom half of the 6th inning at Fenway Park, a 1-run ball game. Mo Vaughn, Jose Canseco, and Mike Greenwell, meat of the order. Hitters 3, 4, and 5 coming up against the 22-year-old rookie out of Tampa, Florida, Brad Radke. Vaughn has an 11-game hitting streak on the line, goes after the first pitch and fouls it back. Vaughn with a grand slam here on Friday night, the 2nd of 95. It won earlier against the Yankees. 4 grand slams in his career. Trying to get the Red Sox started here in the 6th against Radke, trying to add to this 1-0 lead. Rookie's pitched pretty well for the Twins.
Pitched extremely well. He's got 79 pitches coming into the inning, 81 now, 51 for strikes, but probably the big helper was the 5th inning. 6 pitches, all strikes.
Vaughn sends it in the air to left center field. Rich Becker is going over. Becker on the warning track. It'll go off the wall. Vaughn will go into second, round second now, head for third. Here comes the throw to third base. It's offline, and Vaughn is in with a leadoff triple.
Vaughn gets the ball down in the lower half and really drives it. And you look at the left-handed hitters here in Boston, they learn to hit off of that green monster in left field. Becker, I think, either lost the ball because it didn't look like it was that high up on the wall. You watch as he gives up on the ball as he gets to the track. He starts looking for help, and it hit on the pads. I don't think he tracked the ball all the way to the wall, and Vaughn moving the whole time. He knows this ballpark. Marty Cordova hustles over, grabs the ball all the way from left field, throws wide of third base, and the Red Sox with the leadoff triple by Mo Vaughn.
On a ball that looked like it should have been caught. I mean, there are fielders that play here for the first time. They get caught too close to the wall, and the ball goes over their head, and then ricochets by him. But that wasn't the case there, it didn't look like. Looked like he lost it. Chris Canseco very good at driving in runners from third base with less than 2 outs. Looks at one down low, 1 ball and no strikes.
An interesting part that you might want to take a look at, too, is Radke staying in the windup with less than 2 outs and a runner on third base, keeping the runner close at third base, which would help you with Vaughn, who has decent speed.
Seiko has driven in 10 of 13 from third base with less than 2 outs. This one to shallow right field, falls for a base hit. Vaughn will come in to score. An RBI single for Canseco, and it's 2-0 Boston.
Radke has to be asking himself, what have I got to do? A fly ball to left field short on the monster. Should have been caught by Becker in center field. Canseco, the shift is on. Hits it off to the end of the bat. Little blooper to right field. Hangs Vaughn up at third because he doesn't know if the ball is going to be caught or not. A nice job by Mansteller because he sticks the glove in the air as if he's going to catch it, when locks up Vaughn, and when it drops, Vaughn, of course, is able to score.
Now Mansteller had way too far to go. Mike Greenwell is the batter. Looks at ball 1.
You got to respect the power of Canseco. If you come in a little bit, he's going to hit the ball over your head. As you said, playing right field in Fenway Park is not an easy job.
Greenwell extended his hitting streak to 8 games with a single his first at bat. Nice play here by Scotty Leyes. Leyes to second for 1, back to first, not in time. Knobloch unable to turn the double play, but boy, Leyes taking a base hit away from Mike Greenwell. Baseball Night in America is brought to you by Lexus. Luxury automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. Arid, get a little closer. And Pepsid AC Acid Controller. You can be heartburn free with new Pepsid AC.
Scott Leyes does a great job. Greenwell driving this ball to the opposite side. Leyes laying out parallel to the ground, is able to field the ball and from his knees make a flip throw to second baseman Chuck Knobloch. We're not able to control it to get it over for the double play, but a great play by Leyes at third base, who's been trying to replace Gary Gaetti for quite some time, the third baseman for the Kansas City Royals, who was traded to the California Angels.
The bat would be tough to replace. Although Gaetti was a fine fielder and a Gold Glove winner when he was with the Twins, but Leyes making a fine play there.
Scotty, who went through shoulder surgery through the '93 season, been a tough recovery, but he's done a nice job of it at playing third base for the Twins.
Twins have been a fine defensive ball club. To put it in perspective, they have made 26 fewer errors than the Red Sox this year. And the two teams have played the same number of ball games, this being game number 80 for both squads. Balls and a strike on Naring, who's lined to center and walked. Red Sox will welcome the Chicago White Sox to Boston tomorrow for a 3-game series. Twins will head up to Toronto to meet the Blue Jays and home to the Dome this weekend to face the New York Yankees. Naring sends it foul down the third base line. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Red Sox now have 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error. The Twins have just 4 hits off the knuckleballer Wakefield. Naring making a bid to make the American League All-Star team with a strong first half. Matter of fact, the Buck Showalter of the Yankees mentioning Naring as one of the players he very disappointed at being unable to name to the squad.
Well, you'd like to see the rosters get expanded, maybe 3, maybe 5 players, so you can allow a Naring there.
Pushes it right side, base hit. Greenwell legs his way around first, or second rather, and he will hold as Mansteller has got a fine throwing arm. Rookie's getting pecked to death here in the 6th inning. Sox not hitting the ball hard, but finding holes. Vaughn hit it pretty well, but the ball should have been caught.
It's a good pitch by Radke. It's a down and away cut fastball. A nice job by Naring. As you see, he stays back, reacts to the pitch, drives it through the hole. Greenwell again puts the brakes on to respect Mansteller's arm in right field. If you look at Radke in his last 5 starts, he's gone to the 7th inning 1 time. So the Twins have to concern themselves as he gets into that danger zone of the 6th, 7th, and 8th inning, as the ball may come up in the strike zone, give up some runs.
Troy O'Leary has hit him well in the past. As mentioned, with 2 homers off Radke, July 5th at the Dome. Really seemingly has hit everybody this year. Going to slate, the Red Sox getting some good news. MRI on Roger Clemens' injured elbow showing no tear. They hope that Clemens will be able to start this weekend in Texas against the Rangers.
Well, you look at his situation and the Red Sox, and I think the way they view it, Al Nepper, I spoke with him earlier, as a power pitcher. You're 6 weeks away from gaining into that high 80, low 90 that Roger has, and he's thrown 260 to 300 innings for the past 10 years. He's going to lose some of that fastball. And it takes time for them to build up the arm strength and to get all the adhesions broke loose in the elbow and the shoulder area. And he's probably a start, maybe 2 starts away from regaining all of the strength in that arm to where you doesn't have these difficulties. Of course, the Boston fans may not want to wait that long.
O'Leary grounds it. Fair ball. Past the dive. That time is Stahoviak. Rounding third and heading home is Greenwell. Naring rounds third. He'll be held there by Dave Oliver. It's an RBI double for Troy O'Leary. 3-0 Boston. Just fair.
Pretty good pitch again by Radke. It's the sinker sinking away, but O'Leary does a nice job of pulling the ball right down the line and over the first base bag past the diving Scott Stahoviak. It's the stand-up double. Greenwell scores. Dick Such, the pitching coach for the Minnesota Twins, out to visit with Radke.
Such has been taking a lot of grief, I know, the last couple of years in the Twin Cities as the Twins pitchers have had their difficulties. But he's the same man that was the pitching coach when they won 2 world championships.
Well, that's the defense that Tom Kelly comes with. As Klingenbeck gets loose for the Twins, he probably wants to have a little redemption maybe against Mo Vaughn after that long home run.
You really think so?
I doubt it. I always like to come back. I mean, the home runs are such a rarity anyway that you always like to come back and try to face that guy.
How did you do against Herbeck after you gave up his first major?
Pretty well, actually. A lot of the guys that I didn't give up a lot of home runs anyway because I tried to keep the ball down in the strike zone. Plus, I didn't pitch that many innings. That's the advantage side of it. You're not a starter, you're a middle reliever, so you're only out there for a couple innings anyway. And I was fortunate. I had Rich Gossage and Bruce Sutter. And
Twins have the infield in. Mike McFarland at the plate. Naring at third base. O'Leary down at second. 1 out. A couple of runs in here for Boston in the bottom of the 6th. Checks his swing, rolls it. Radke makes the play, has just 1 play at first base, and they just do get McFarland. Stahoviak just did get there in time. It's a routine 1-3 putout as you're looking at your scorecard, but it was anything but routine. An RBI in the play.
He falls off to the first base side, but makes a nice diving stab, but he has no chance at home plate to get anybody, but he uses great footwork and flips the ball to first base. It's a check swing, as you can see, but all of his momentum going to the first base side. Of course, Naring moving on contact. You have 2 different ways you're going to run that at third base. Moving on contact, as soon as the ball's hit, you're going. It's the ball, of course, hit in the air. The ball on the ground, you're going to try to score and make them make the play, and that's what helped them get that run at that time. But a great job by Radke to make the flip to first base.
Sox get their 3rd run of the inning. Now Wakefield has a 4-0 advantage. Luis Alicea at the plate, looks at a called strike. Troy O'Leary at third base, 2 outs. Alicea tonight knocked in a run with a sac fly in the 2nd, called out on strikes in the 5th. 1 ball and 1 strike. The 9th and final meeting for the Twins and the Red Sox this year. Season series even at 4 games aside. Closing in on 100 pitches now for Radke. Alisea will pop it foul. Stachowiak with the call. Makes the catch, and the Sox retired, but they pick up 3. We will return with Baseball Night in America, the Minnesota Twins and the Boston Red Sox, after this from our ABC stations.
The rich.
Baseball Night in America here at Fenway Park in Boston. The Minnesota Twins and Boston Red Sox. Sox coming up with 3 in the bottom half of the 6th innings. Tim Wakefield, who has been one tough customer on the American League, going after his 6th straight win tonight, now has a 4-run advantage.
Well, it's going to make it a lot easier to pitch. He's going to be able to get ahead in the strike zone. Maybe throw the fastball a little bit more.
Now Stachowiak will lead things off. Pitch is down low, 1 ball, no strikes. Stachowiak is 0 for 2 tonight. Hopping to second, reaching on a fielder's choice, picking up a steal. Wakefield, a quick worker, usually doesn't even want the 8 warm-up pitches that he's afforded between innings.
There's some theory behind that. Why waste the energy? I feel good. I'm fine. Let's go to work.
He's had some zippy ball games for the Red Sox. Ball's behind the leadoff hitter, 2 balls, no strikes. He hasn't been behind that many hitters tonight.
Not tonight, well, throughout the whole year, he wouldn't be 9-1 right now.
Catches the inside corner, 2 balls and a strike.
I think what's nice about Wakefield is he feels confident enough that he can throw the fastball as he did there for a strike anytime.
Stachowiak will find safety in right center field. Willie McGee goes over to cut it off. Stachowiak's going for 2. McGee bobbled it. I don't think that'll figure in the scoring, though, because Stachowiak was going for second all the way. Well, now it's time for tonight's Lexus Diamond Dust Baseball Quiz. The Major's last Triple Crown winner was Carl Yastrzemski in 1967. 226 batting average, 44 home runs, 121 RBIs. Which 3 players rank among the all-time career top 20 players in each of the Triple Crown categories? We'll have the answer for you next half inning. Give you something to think about. Wakefield, something to think about. Stachowiak at second base with nobody out.
I don't think with a 2-1 count on Stachowiak that you would have seen the fastball as you did in this inning if the ball game was still 1-0. You probably would have seen the knuckleball.
Floats one into Leyes, a ball and a strike. Leyes is grounded to short and went down swinging. That was in the 4th inning. Wakefield has struck out 6, has walked just 1, and has held the Twins so far to 5 hits. Ground ball, foul, and just foul over the third base bag, but on the wrong side of the foul line. Ed Hickok, the third base umpire. There's actually a 5-man crew here. Chuck Merriweather, Ted Hendry, Drew Coble, Ed Hickok, and the 5th member is Gerwood Merrill. They will work the White Sox series, which follows this here at Fenway Park. And it is Merrill who has the night off tonight.
Well, he worked home plate last night. He needs the night off.
Very colorful. Gerwood Merrill out of Hooks, Texas. 1-2 pitch. Leyes will lift it to center field. Willie McGee makes the catch. Stachowiak will tag at second and move over to third. Stachowiak hustling on the base pass. Took the extra base, got the double to lead off the inning. Moves to third base on the fly ball to Willie McGee. He's trying to scratch out a run against Wakefield here in the top of the 7th. Wakefield, unbelievable story. Come up with Pittsburgh as a rookie in 1992. Pitched 2 complete games in the National League Championship Series. Fell on hard times. Spent last year at Buffalo in AAA. Won just 5 ball games. Tonight going after his 6th straight win. John Valentin goes back, puts it away. And Dan Mesteller retired on a fly ball to shallow left. Stachowiak holding at third base. Tomorrow night on ABC, there's a lot more hits on the way. Full House, Thunder Rally, Home Improvement, Coach, and NYPD Blue. The Tuesday Night All-Stars on ABC starting tomorrow at 8, 7 Central Time.
Number 17,
2 outs in the Twin half of the 7th inning. Jeff Reboulet, the Minnesota shortstop, the batter. Reboulet appearing tonight for the first time in the series, actually for the first time since the 15th of July, coming back following a strained left hamstring. Got Mears getting the night off. McFarland knocks it down. No pass balls or wild pitches. The battery of Wakefield and McFarland tonight. McFarland has caught Wakefield exclusively,
which is a tribute, since he had not ever caught a knuckleballer prior to Wakefield coming over to the Red Sox. It's just a tough pitch to catch, to hit, to umpire. Everything works in Wakefield's advantage if you keep it in the strike zone.
You got to pay attention to stay with it. That's for sure. 2 balls and a strike.
The difference between the leadoff hitter and the 4th hitter in this inning, he threw the 2-1 fastball, or the 2-0 fastball to Scott Stahoviak. And here he threw the knuckleball and comes right back with it. In the first inning, you'll recall, Knobloch starts the ball game off with a triple and then gets 2 strikeouts on knuckleballs. And you look at this ball flutter. It's right in the strike zone, then it disappears. Frustrating. He happened to be a Minnesota Twin tonight.
He happened to be Jeff Reboulet right now. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That'll drop safely in right field for a base hit. Minnesota gets its first run. Stahoviak comes in to score. 2-out single by Reboulet. And the Twins on the board. It's 4-1 Boston.
It's a good knuckleball. It's going to float away from Reboulet to the outside part of the plate, and he just hits it off the end of the bat, out of the reach. The right field, Larry fielding the ball, but again, a good pitch by Wakefield. Nice job of hitting by Reboulet.
I guess the best job of hitting a knuckleball, you try and move up, hit it before it breaks, and keep your swing under control. Don't take a wild swing at it. Just try and basically slap or punch the ball.
Well, the guy I think of that hit the knuckleball better than anybody was Rod Carew, for one reason. He kept his hands back all the time in the strike zone. He never really got it out front. Al Nepper with a visit to the mound. Stan Belinda loosening up.
One of the things that's interesting here is that as Belinda warms in the bullpen for the Red Sox, it's tough on a pitching coach because Wakefield was saying there's really nobody you can go to. I mean, you can't go, obviously, to Roger Clemens for advice. Nipper can help somewhat. But, I mean, basically, it's back to knuckleball school in the Negroes. Really, is about the only place you can go.
Well, there are Charlie Huff. That's the only 2 guys of recent years that throws the ball consistently with the knuckleball. And, you know, you're going out, more than likely, he's going out to ask him, how do you feel? Are you tired? Gives Belinda a little bit of time to get loose down in the bullpen, because the one thing the Red Sox don't want to do is let the game get out of hand.
Baseball night in America here at Fenway Park in Boston. I'm Bob Kurtz, along with George Frazier, the Red Sox, and knuckleballer Tim Wakefield, who leads the American League in ERA. A 4-1 lead over the Minnesota Twins. Had Wahlbeck at the plate. Jeff Reboulet at first base. A run in for Minnesota here in the 7th inning. 2 gone. It is a 4-1 lead for the Sox, trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. Wakefield has gone over the century mark, most of them in the strike zone. And many batters tonight fooled like Wahlbeck was there, a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, they're in the strike zone for a little while. They come over and look like they're going to stay in the strike zone, and that's the mystery of the knuckleball. The ball looked like it was going to stay belt high, and of course dove low and away from Wahlbeck.
Wahlbeck has gone 0 for 2 tonight. Twins have 6 hits. Wahlbeck swings and misses, strike 3. Wakefield picks up his 7th strikeout of the night. 7th inning stretch time here at Fenway Park. The Red Sox 4, the Twins 1.
Fenway Park with Boston on top 4-1. Tim Wakefield having a little visit with Al Nepper, and after the inning of getting out with the strikeout, a nice tip of the hat. And that's really got to feel good after what he's been through the last 2 years, not winning in the big league or the minor leagues. Be able to tip that hat.
Now, Twins are going to make a pitching change. Brad Radke will leave after working the first 6 innings tonight, and Scott Klingenbeck, picked up in the trade for Scott Erickson, will take over on the mound.
Klingenbeck's numbers, the hits, more than innings total. Of course, the walks are what have hurt him. He's got the stuff to be successful in the big leagues. He's just got to get it over the plate, not fall behind in the count.
Klingenbeck worked 3 innings in the ball game here Friday night. Charged with 7 runs, 5 hits, gave up the grand slam to Mo Vaughn. Top of the order for the Sox here in the 7th. Willie McGee to lead it off. McGee will be followed by John Valentin and Mo Vaughn. McGee has struck out, flied to left, and grounded to short in his 3 at-bats. Sox needed a win from Wakefield tonight. He is on his way to that. They also needed a lot of innings. Roger Clemens leaving the ball game here yesterday, an inning in the 3rd. And of course, Jeff Suppan, the rookie pitcher for the Sox, knocked out here in the 4th inning on Saturday. So Kevin Kennedy's bullpen a little thin, and he, as so many times has happened this year, Wakefield gives him a great outing, pitching deep into the ball game.
Well, knuckleballers typically will get you into the 7th and 8th inning. Not a lot of strain on the arm.
McGee will follow. Begs the question, why don't more pitchers throw the knuckleball?
Hard to throw it for strikes. Trust me, as a pitcher, as I got later into my career and didn't throw as hard as I did, as a younger player, I tried to learn the knuckleball, and it's just
after
tough
scuffing,
to throw. After scuffing and Bass, no, just kidding. Tried the knuckleball. Try anything to get these guys out.
McGee fights it off. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
They're standing 60 feet away with a war club. You know, they're trying to hit that baseball. You do what you can to try to get them out. It's just a tough pitch to master.
Willie McGee leading off the Red Sox 7th inning. Again, fouls it off.
Talked earlier in the broadcast about the Red Sox and the different mix of faces from other organizations this year. They've had to change the rollover in their lineup. Willie McGee, another one of those finds that they found out of free agent camp.
Long-time National Leaguer with some brief time at Oakland in the American League will be tagged out here by Stahoviak as we open the bottom half of the 7th inning. Well, here's tonight's Lexus Diamond Dust answer. Which 3 players rank among the all-time career top 20 players in each of the Triple Crown categories? The answers, 3 great names: Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and Teddy Ballgame. The greatest ever for the Red Sox, Ted Williams. He is the king of baseball in New England. There is more reverence, I think, associated with his name than any player I ever recall. Teddy Ballgame is still baseball here in New England. Called strike. John Valentin, the batter. Greatest Red Sox player of them all. Just a tremendous appreciation for who he was and everything that he accomplished for this ball club from 1939 through 1960.
Well, not only what he did for this ball club, but what he did for baseball, the excitement he brought to the ballpark. Last at bat, of course, a home run.
His goal was to walk into a room and hear someone whisper across the room, "There goes the greatest hitter of all time."
Not too many people can argue with that.
Three balls and a strike to count on John Valentin, who's gone 0 for 2 plus a walk tonight. Red Sox have 4 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. The Twins 1-6-0. Red Sox trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. Twins have won their last 2, 4 of their last 5, and actually have won 10 of their last 17 as they try and build on something here the second half of the year. Mentioned off the top, tough year for Minnesota, buried in the basement, 28.5 lengths behind Cleveland, looking ahead to next year as Valentin fouls it off.
And they may be 2 years away. I know that they're going to have to build a ball club with lower price free agents, mix it in with some trades, mix it in with some of the younger pitchers at the lower level, and there's not a better man in baseball probably than Tom Kelly, who understands the younger player, knows what it takes. To his left, of course, Dick Such, the pitching coach for the Twins.
Valentin draws the walk. Twins general manager Terry Ryan was asked if Kelly were in trouble. He said, how could he be? He's the same man that won World Series in '87 and '91. We have one of the best managers in baseball. That's not the problem. Great work ethic, very popular in the Twin Cities. Still just 44 years of age.
Well, he still has that burning desire to win, and I think he'll take this ball club to those heights once again as a manager.
Here's the hit dog, Bo Vaughn, 1 for 3 on the night with a triple. His last at bat, scored a run. Looks at a called strike. Vaughn, with that triple, has extended his hitting streak now to a dozen games. A shade under 300, again leads the American League in both home runs and runs batted in. One ball, one strike. Klingenbach was the pitcher that off whom Vaughn hit that tremendous grand slam off the back wall of the center field bleachers here on Friday night. This one on a line to center field. Becker charges in, makes the catch as Valentin scampers back to first base.
As a pitcher, Klingenbach's got to feel good that he did get Mo Vaughn out after giving up the grand slam on Friday night. He has to, even though the ball was hit hard, it was hit at somebody, and that's a confidence booster for a young pitcher down the road, and a confidence booster for maybe Tom Kelly to use him in that situation again against a Mo Vaughn.
I say he was looking for a rematch out in the bullpen. He got it, huh?
He got his rematch. This time he won.
Here's Jose Canseco. Although Vaughn won't go back to the bench disappointed. Hit the ball well.
You start building that young ball club and you got a young pitcher like Klingenbach on the mound. This is where you find something out about your younger players. He's facing Jose Canseco, down 4-1. Turn up that concentration and get the out.
Seiko fouls it off the foot or the ankle. And have Jose doing a bit of a dance. One strike.
Amazingly, Canseco usually wears a shin guard on his left leg, and he had it on in his first at-bats tonight. Tonight he doesn't. And this at-bat doesn't have it on and pays the price.
I think it was off the toe. I think it wouldn't have helped.
Somebody I asked a hitter one time, so what's that feel like? He says, well, take your shoe off and hit your big toe with a ball-peen hammer and you'll figure out how it feels.
My partner on the Red Sox game, Jerry Remy, says it barks. It will bark most of the night. One strike pitch to Jose. Fastball missing. 8 home runs for Canseco. A 3-run homer here Saturday off Greg Harris in the 5th inning of that ball game. His big bomb of the year here was against Bob Tewksbury of the Texas Rangers on July the 13th. He hit the light tower out in left field about half the way up. Klingenbach deals 2-1. Canseco swings and misses.
That may not have been a pitch that Jose Canseco felt like he could drive out of the ballpark, but knowing a fastball was coming, he's behind in the count, 2 balls and a strike. The ball sunk at the last minute. A lot of hitters that hit the ball out of the ballpark, particularly a guy like Canseco, you get behind him in the count. He's looking dead red for that fastball, and he's going to try to turn on it.
Twins with the usual Canseco shift. 3 infielders on the left side. The right side of the infield wide open for Jose. He's occasionally, a couple times here recently, rolled one through what would be the normal second base position.
Well, earlier tonight, he blooped one into right field off of Radke.
2-2 pitch. Valentin goes. Canseco swings and misses. That'll be the end of the inning. Canseco is strikeout victory. Late innings, top of the 8th here at Fenway Park. 4-1 for the Red Sox over the Minnesota Twins. Top of the order coming up against Tim Wakefield here in the 8th. Chuck Knobloch, Rich Becker, and Marty Cordova. Knobloch allows himself to be hit by the pitch more than anything else. Too hard to get out of the way of that one, but Knobloch takes one for the club, an easy one. Wakefield hits the leadoff batter here in the 8th inning. Time now for our MCI proof positive replay. Back in the first inning, Knobloch at third base with 2 outs. Wakefield winds up. Knobloch stealing home, but is out. Tagged by McFarland, and that's our MCI proof positive replay. Rich Becker looks at the called strike. Becker struck out a couple of times and fouled to McFarland. 7 strikeouts for Wakefield tonight.
Earlier you spoke of the fact pitching into the 8th inning or getting some quality starts out of Wakefield when their bullpen has been chewed up by innings or the job not being done by the starting pitchers.
Becker hits this one pretty good, though, out to left center field, but run down by Greenwell on the warning track. And that will send Knobloch back to first base. Becker making a bid for the wall, but Greenwell coming up with the catch in left center.
Nice job by Mike Greenwell. Anybody that plays left field here, and he has for a number of years, you learn to never give up on a ball, because that center fielder, being Willie McGee tonight, have to run a long ways to catch up to the baseball. And of course, Greenwell makes a nice play, running catch. It's the ball back in.
Left fielder Marty Cordova, the batter. Cordova line drive, base hit, right field. Knobloch will stop at second. Troy O'Leary hustles it back in. 7 hits now for the Twins. They have 2 aboard, which will bring the tying run to the plate. And will bring Kevin Kennedy to the mound. Great job by Wakefield tonight. Usually when Kennedy comes out, it's pitching change time. Stan Belinda, the setup man, ready for the Red Sox. And of course, Rick Aguilera is the closer for this ball club now, picked up from the Twins.
And what a pickup that was. You've got a great setup guy who was a stopper in the Pittsburgh organization. He's come over as a setup man here with the Red Sox, and Stan Belinda. That's Rick Aguilera, former stopper of the Twins.
Settling into New England nicely, and a great round of applause and a terrific job for Wakefield. Again, the Red Sox needed 7 1/3 innings out of him tonight. They got it. Baseball night in America here at Fenway Park. Red Sox with a 4-1 lead. Minnesota batting in the top of the 8th. Sox have gone to the bullpen. Stan Belinda
Throws from that odd angle, keeps the ball out, down and low away from the body. As you can see, has been a positive note for this bullpen. It's 35 hits in 44 innings, 38 strikeouts. Coming from the stopper's role in Pittsburgh and coming over here and being able to be the setup guy, it's almost like you're in a stopper's role, as he is now with a 4-1 lead, runners on first and second, and here you are, top half of the 8th inning. He knows that he's probably 2 outs, and he's going to be done tonight, because Aguilera starting to play catch down in the Sox bullpen. Any save situation, Kevin Kennedy will go to him. But Belinda knows that he's in here for 2 outs.
Chip Hale as a pinch hitter comes on. Hale 6 for 19 pinch hitting for the Twins this year, and had a pinch hit single against Belinda here Saturday afternoon. Career, he's a .320 pinch hitter. Hale is 24 for 75, a specialist from the left side of the plate. Knobloch at second, Cordova at first with 1 out. Belinda slings in strike 2. Sox have had their difficulties in the bullpen earlier this year. Kenny Ryan struggling in the closing role. Belinda was in it for a while, and Sox going out then and solving the problem by picking up Aguilera from the Minnesota Twins. Now Belinda back in the setup role. Got it up high, and Hale drives it on the line to left field. Greenwell makes the catch, and Alicea has to go off his glove there at second base. Hale with a line drive out to Mike Greenwell in left field.
number 37.
And batting first baseman Scott Stahoviak, the batter.
Scott Stahoviak.
It's tough as the Twin hitters will approach Belinda and Aguilera probably in the 9th inning. You've gone from a guy that throws a knuckleball between 68 and 75 miles an hour to a relief pitcher that's going to throw the baseball in the high 80s and low 90s. You got to readjust your thought process as a hitter and start tuning that bat speed up and reaction speed to the ball a little bit better. This is where it's great to follow. I know when you think of the great Astro rotations, J.R. Richards, Nolan Ryan's, Mixon and Necro.
Belinda doesn't miss by much with that one. A ball and a strike. Wakefield 7 1/3 innings, 1 run, still responsible for the 2 runners on. 7 hits, struck out 7 and walked 1. Two balls and a strike. Stahoviak tonight is popped to second, safe on the fielder's choice, and then doubled to center, leading off the 7th inning. Batting here in the 8th with Knobloch at second, Cordova at first. Three balls and a strike. Twins have Matt Marullo on the bench from the left side. They still have Mears and Puckett and Ingram also available. Reyes in the on-deck circle. Should Stahoviak be able to reach here, keep this 8th inning going? The count goes full, which will have Knobloch at second and Cordova at first off of the pitch.
Fake move by Belinda. A turnaround move that Rick Sutcliffe made famous. Pickoff.
Payoff pitch, runners go, swung on and fouled off the foot and dropped in the batter's box. Stahoviak. That one hurt. Thought Canseco do it, but not nearly as severely here as Stahoviak. You can see he's in pain. Fouled it straight down, which brings long-time Minnesota trainer Dick Martin out of the Twins dugout. Well, next time on Baseball Night in America, many of you will see the Toronto Blue Jays welcome the Red Sox to Sky Dome. Other areas will see the Minnesota Twins host the Kansas City Royals, or the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Baltimore Orioles, plus other regional action. Check your local listings for the game in your area, Saturday, August the 5th at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on ABC.
This ball looks like it comes off of the bat. It almost catches him up high. Looks like he hit right on the kneecap area. Tries that ball, hit right up on top of that kneecap. And you think of the 9 first basemen that they've had. Stahoviak comes in. Here's another look at him. Clark, Hale, Kevin Moss, Manstelli, McCarty, who's been traded since to Cincinnati and on to San Francisco. Morello, Munoz, Rebele, and Stahoviak.
Who's in pain.
Who's left?
Now, Herbeck was the one they tried to replace. We saw Kent's last game. The Red Sox played him the final game of before the strike last year at the Metrodome in Minnesota. Herbeck given a warm send-off by the crowd. They sensed it was his last game. Herbeck closing out his career, and there'll be an appreciation weekend coming up next month at the Metrodome. Number 14 eventually will be retired in Minnesota. Stahoviak like to retire right now. That was a painful one right off the knee.
You're Tom Kelly right now. Well, I think you're going to do a better job than I did. I hit $180 in the big leagues, but if you want me to take this at bat for you.
I thought TK was going to take a shot there.
TK's something else, I'll tell you. And if you ask him, through all the changes that the Twins have made in rebuilding their organizations through the years, he's had every opportunity to get upset with management when they trade away players like Aguilera, Erickson. The thing he'll say is, I don't deal the cards, I just play the cards. And
plays them well.
And plays them extremely well and gets the most out of every player that his general managers have given him over the years.
So Stahoviak will step in again with the 3-2 count. Runners again take off. Belinda will miss outside for ball 4, so the bases are loaded. Things getting sticky for the Red Sox here in the top of the 8th inning. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Scott Reyes due up.
A month ago, Kevin Kennedy probably would have left Belinda, and may very well here with the bases loaded would have left him in the ball game. Now he's waiting to see the chess game going on between Tom Kelly. Scott Leyes called back to the dugout. Murillo comes out. Pinch hit for Scotty. You got the closer that you have now in Rick Aguilera. I don't know if it really matters right-handed versus left-handed.
Aguilera a perfect 5 for 5 in save opportunities since coming over. No saves since 1990. Lee Arthur right at the top of the list. Dennis Eckersley is one of the great ones of all time. And Rick Aguilera ranks 3rd.
Definitely, you know, exciting being here. It was, you know, it was difficult, you know, having to be traded and leaving people I've been playing with for quite some time. But you know, in this game, you realize you're not always that fortunate to be able to stay where you want to be, and I've just got to get over that and again look to more positive things here. We've got a great chance to win. We've got some good guys here, and I'm just very excited about the opportunity here.
To add a footnote to what Rick mentioned to me, I go, how have the fans accepted you? And he goes, well, they love me, but I haven't blown a save yet. He said, wait till I blow one, then everybody's going to hate me again, at least for a day.
He's been a perfect 5 for 5, including a very emotional first save against the Twins in the Metrodome right after the trade. Picks up here with the bases loaded. Knobloch at 3rd, Cordova at 2nd. Stahoviak at 1st with 2 outs. Matt Marullo, a pinch hitter at the plate, and Marullo will foul it off. Now, Marullo had a dramatic 2-out home run off Jeff Reardon in the Red Sox here in the 9th inning, back in a game of May 27th of 1991. He's 12 for 68 in his career as a pinch hitter, which figures to a 176 average.
One thing working to his advantage, I'm sure that Tom Kelly told him prior to. They're going to go to Aguilera, and this is what he likes to do to left-handed hitters in this situation, so look for this pitch. Pretty good cut at the first pitch from Aguilera.
Marullo will send this one to right field. O'Leary goes over. O'Leary's on the warning track right in front of that short right field porch and will put it away. And Aguilera comes on and gets the out, and the Twins leave the bases loaded. 4-1 Sox.
Four to 1, the Red Sox leading the Twins in the bottom of the 8th. Mike Greenwell set to come up, but first these stories. Chad Fonville having a big night for the Dodgers against the Astros. He takes 2nd on the throw here after driving in Carlson Kelly. He has 3 runs batted in. 6-2, the Dodgers lead in the 9th inning. The Braves and the Pirates, Chipper Jones also having a huge night. 4 for 4 tonight, 8 for his last 8 in Pittsburgh. Drives in Maddox here, gave him a lead at 2-1, but right now this one is knotted at 2 apiece in the 8th inning. And the Giants and the Marlins, Deion Sanders making his debut in a San Francisco uniform, at least a San Francisco baseball uniform. Drives in Royce Clayton here. Jerry Brown misplays the ball, so Deion winds up on 3rd on the 2-base error. Glenn Allen Hill also has a 3-run home run in the game. 8-3, the Giants lead the Marlins. Bob and George.
Okay, thank you, John. Of course, most of the action tonight is saw there coming from the National League. There's just the Texas-New York game going at this time in the American League. Later tonight, Milwaukee at Seattle and Cleveland and California. That's quite a matchup on the West Coast. Here, Mike Greenwell leading off in the Boston 8th inning. Ground ball right side. Stahoviak will make the play. He looks all right as he steps on the bag and 1 out. Stahoviak looks to be recovered, at least temporarily.
Well, the pain won't be tonight. It'll be after he gets off that airplane in Toronto after sitting for about 2.5 hours. And quiet, he'll get out of that chair and it'll stiffen up on him. Hopefully tomorrow through the treatments from Dick Martin, the head trainer of the Twins. He'll be just fine. They don't need a 10th first baseman in Minnesota. They've gone through the 9 so far.
Tim Naring bats with the bases empty and 1 out. Swings and misses at the offering from Klingenbeck. Brad Radke, the starter for the Twins tonight, worked the first 6 innings of the ball game. Gave up 4 runs, 7 hits, struck out 3, and lost 2. Right now, he would be on the hook for the loss, which would snap a 4-game winning streak. How's Rick Aguilera feel about having to get 4 outs rather than just pitch the 9th inning?
Well, I think he likes the fact it's a save situation. He would rather naturally come into his own mess. And what I mean by that, Ground ball over to Mears, fresh off the bench. Nice throw over to Stahoviak.
Well, we should mention that Mears is short and Rebele moving to third defensively for Minnesota on the left side. Mears a solid shortstop, given most of the night off, coming in here defensively in the late innings. Lay is lifted for the pinch hitter.
Rebele moves over to third. As you'd seen, he's been one of the 9 first basemen. He's a great utility infielder for the Twins. Play all 4 positions. But Aguilera, as any relief pitcher that has been successful, would like to come in and create his own problems.
Troy O'Leary trying to add to some problems here. Puts it up against the wall, but back to make the catch is Cordova, right up against the Green Monster. And so we head to the top half of the 9th inning. Red Sox lead Minnesota 4-1. Top half of the 9th inning. Twins coming to bat here. Sox with some defensive changes. Lee Tinsley going in to play center field. Willie McGee will shift over to right. Troy O'Leary comes out of the ball game. Rick Aguilera will try and make it a perfect 6 for 6, picking up his second against his former mates. After the first pitch here is Masteller fouling it back, and that'll be on the screen. Masteller, Rebele, and Wahlbeck scheduled up. Twins have Puckett and Ingram left on the bench, both right-handed hitters. The more dangerous of the two would be Kirby Puckett, given the night off tonight. Red Sox killer extraordinaire. He's had some great nights here at Fenway and in the Dome against the Sox. Masteller grounds it foul down the first baseline, booted there by Jerry White. Jerry White coaching at first base for the Twins. Scott Olger is over at third. You recall very early in the season, Ron Gardenhire, the normal Twins third base coach, was run over first game of replacement spring training. Tore up his Achilles heel and has been out most of the year. He hopes to return, but will have to coach first base the rest of the year. Baseball Night in America tonight is brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. MCI, the company that brings you proof positive. And Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. Under the lights here at Fenway Park, 4-1 lead for the Red Sox, trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. Rick Aguilera trying to get the final 4 outs of the ball game. There's Masteller.
Had to replace the lumber. Hard ground ball down the right field line.
What do you have to do? Go back and make another one?
Had to go back and chop down another redwood.
Watch out, he's a home run hitter.
Crowd wanted to call a ball and 2 strikes. Chuck Merriweather getting a lot of help from the amateur umpires behind the plate. Always willing to help out here at Fenway. Masteller sends this one long and foul down the right field line into the roof boxes.
That was a split finger that didn't split. Stayed up in the strike zone. He went with the fastball away prior to, didn't get the call. Comes back with the split finger. Really stays up in the zone. Not much break, a late break. Masteller jerks it.
Aguilera unhappy, but he would have been a lot more unhappy if it stayed fair.
Just a long fly ball that's foul. This kind he didn't mind too much.
Said his first save against Minnesota was in a very emotional event. He was saying reporters asked him after the game what pitch he threw to which hitters, and he says normally, of course, any pitcher could tell you that right back, but he said he didn't remember, honestly, half the pitches he threw that night. Fastball missed inside. 2-2, the count on Masteller.
That pitch probably upset Aguilera more than the fastball that was not called away, because he made the pitch he wanted to in the situation. Ahead in the count, inside part of the plate. Didn't get the call.
Masteller fought that one off. Looked like the splitter. The kid out of Michigan State hanging in there against the veteran relief pitcher Aguilera. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Hard ground ball, base hit, right field. Masteller finding the hole between Alicea and Vaughn.
Pretty nice piece of hitting by Mansteller against one of the best closers in the game. Fought a lot of pitches off, good pitches. Got a couple of calls to go his way. And just takes the split finger into right field.
He's aboard here in the top of the ninth with a leadoff single. Jeff Rebele, the Minnesota shortstop, the batter. He's now actually out-hit the Red Sox for the night. The Sox had the 3 extra runs. Rebele has 2 hits. Closing in on 300 for the year. Vaughn playing behind Mansteller at first. Rebele lining it out to right field. Coming on to make the fine catch is McGee. Willie McGee with a nice catch. No way of knowing, of course, whether Troy O'Leary could have reached that or not, but the Sox making a defensive change, and it pays off. McGee coming up with a fine play in right field.
What's nice about that play is the misjudged fly ball back in the first inning into a triple. Then you turn around. You never know about the game of baseball, how you can redeem yourself with the fans. As he comes in on a charge, really makes a tough catch. Retire and get the out for Aguilera. Retire Jeff Rebele.
McGee again paying dividends for the Sox. Matt Wallback at the plate. Goes after the first pitch. Launches it foul down the left field line. Wallback is 0 for 3 tonight. Has flied to right. That was in the 3rd inning. Rolled to Alisei at 2nd in the 5th and went down swinging in the 7th. Pitchers of record. Wakefield would stand to win his 10th game of the year against 1 loss. Extend his winning streak to 6 games. Radke right now is on the hook for the loss. That's all, of course, provided that Aguilera can pick up his 6th save for the Red Sox. I'd have to think tonight is a little easier for Rick than the first one at the Metrodome.
Well, I think it is, and probably the other effects that come in. You've been here now for a couple of weeks. You're able to settle into the ballpark, to the fans, to your teammates. And the emotional part of being traded's over.
It's another call. Inside corner called strike 3. Wallback will walk back talking to himself. Aguilera and the Red Sox now 1 strike away.
Not very many closers throw in the 90s and throw it where they want to. They just rear back and fire. But as you can see, McFarland sets up on the inner half of the plate, and Aguilera hits the corner and gets the out.
Executive producer of ABC Sports is Jack O'Hara. Coordinating producer of the Baseball Network, John Filippelli. Coordinating producer for ABC Sports, Kurt Gowdy Jr. Tonight's game has been produced by John Vasallo, directed by John Wilson, as Knobloch extends it with a base hit here to center. Knobloch is just one tough customer. And now, with the tying run due at the plate, look who's coming to the dish.
You might suspect Tom Kelly says, let's match some power versus power. This has got to be tough on Aguilera, because these two guys, being very close friends and mainstays in their departments on the ball club, meaning Aguilera with the pitching staff as the leader there, and of course Puckett, the leader of this ball club for a number of years for the way he plays the game. And this is tough on Kirby.
They matched up in Minnesota, and Aguilera got him out. Aguilera so far 15 pitches, and all but 2 of them have been in the strike zone. So here's Kirby Puckett with the ball game on the line. Breaking pitch hanging inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Twins have 9 hits, but have just 1 run. They've stranded 9 through the first 8 innings and have 2 aboard here with 2 outs in the 9th. Wakefield, Belinda, and now Aguilera. Mansteller at second base. Knobloch aboard at first with 2 outs. Count of 1 ball and no strikes on Kirby Puckett. Puckett rips one, speared at third base by Naring, and that's the ball game.
Naring took perhaps extra bases away from Kirby Puckett and preserves the Red Sox win. Aguilera now 6 for 6 in saves. Tonight's Chevrolet Player of the Game is Tim Wakefield. In conjunction with this program, Chevrolet will contribute a total of $5,000 to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America in the names of all of the players of the game for the 1995 Major League Baseball season. Final score, the Red Sox beat the Twins tonight by a score of 4-1. Back to wrap things up right after this.